Yeah, check in a sec. Yes, yes.
Right. Call halal, Yahweh,
Hashem, Yahushua, B'Shem Dash.
and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And we were just discussing this right-wing patriot, this conservative Christian by the name of Matt Walsh, and a skirmish he got into on the internet. And everything is happening. Can we get the perpetual hatred out? Yeah. Everything is exactly as we say it is, man, because we're the prophets, man. We told you that they're using, the elites are using the right-wing side of Satan to bring back that aggressive, unapologetic devil that we all love and hate at the same time. They're bringing it back. That same devil that's unapologetic, that don't care about your feelings. That's going to say it like it is. They're going to call you what they want to call you to your face. They're not going to dance around it like how the left have danced around things with what's known as political correctness. The era of political correctness is coming to an end. We're going into a new era where these devils are going to come down hard on Jake, and they're going to feel justified. We're going into an era where the Edomite man is now the victim.
Can I grab this real quick?
Yeah.
It says, real quick, it's Ezekiel 33. Right, when this cometh to pass, and lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them.
Now, Esau's always been a devil. Even during the era of political correctness, Esau has moved against us. Okay? But you're going to see Esau go into hyperdrive. And the elders have been saying that forever. Because the era of political correctness fooled Jake into thinking that Esau loves them, that Esau cares about their feelings, that Esau's sorry for slavery. You got a terminology. Can you look at the terminology white guilt? You got the terminology white guilt that they've been pushing out there. And so Jake see that, and Jake think there's some kind of hope that Esau's changing, which that was all a fraud. Now they're gonna get rid of white guilt. Now they're replacing the villainy of the so-called white man with the victimhood. Now Esau's gonna be the victim. Now you got the terminology white genocide, which we'll get that too, which is the belief that the so-called white man is the victim in the earth, that he's being oppressed. you know what I'm saying? Like, he's the one that's being oppressed. He's the victim. He ain't done nothing wrong. He's yeah, go on.
It says Zechariah 11 verse 5. It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
That's exactly.
They don't want to feel that guilt.
They don't want the guilt. They don't want the shame. Right? Now the left tried to hold a little bit of that shame, but not properly. But they try. Now these right wingers are like, we don't want none of it. We're not even going to pretend that we have shame.
Manifest destiny.
Yeah, it was manifest destiny. You guys were just dumb monkeys. You should, in fact, furthermore to that fact, you should be thanking us. You should be grateful. That's the spirit that's gonna get pushed.
And that's that pride.
Yep, that ego, that narcissism. And guess what? The main ones that's pushing that spirit are Christians, right? Conservative Christians.
You made that point earlier when we were speaking in the car, right? About, they will turn around and say, oh yeah, but black people into slavery too, that kind of business, right? Just try and justify their own position because other people will be wicked too. It doesn't absolve you from your own crime. The scripture goes on to say this, right? It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Right? So our own people are putting each other in slavery and stuff, but you can't use that as an excuse just because your own people had pity on you, or these other nations haven't had pity on us. You've not had no pity on us. That's the key thing. You've not had no pity. When you're supposed to be great, you're supposed to be more civilized, right? Exactly. And higher being, more evolved, right? More reasonable. You had no pity. So you're not going to be absolved from what you've done, Get
this piece up here as well. It says Zechariah 2:8. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, after glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye.
There's grave consequences for touching the Lord's people, man. There's grave consequences. You can't just sweep that under the rug like it never happened. You didn't, well, it had to happen. Well, yeah, it had to happen, but you still did it. So you got to pay.
And, it just shows you that and when we go through it, that Esau hasn't changed. Esau hasn't changed one bit. See, you thought Esau moved on from that Andrew Jackson spirit, sharp knife spirit. You thought that was in the past. You thought they were just some little tiny minority of Edomites that might think like that. But in a majority of it's moved on. No, these devils have a perpetual hatred for our people, man.
Yep.
And they will always do whatever they want to do according to their own lusts. They have no morals, and we've been telling you this. They have no morals. They only have morale. They hide behind the idea of being Christians, and then they grandstand as being these moral people like Vocab Malone. The truth of the matter is, they always have been and always will be the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. So don't be surprised when they start acting like that Andrew Jackson, man. When they start when they start putting a hurting on you, Jake, man, and they justify it just like they did. Because never forget, let me say this: when you go back, when they came over to the settlers, came over to the Americas, these good Christian folk, all the way through it, they were justifying what they were doing. They were never in the wrong.
Same recent times. It's no different when they go to the Middle East and do this and do
There's
that.
always a
They've
justification.
justified why they've gone there. Even though they might not be done, might not have done that because it might be inside job and all these kinds of things, but they will justify a reason to go do something to somebody. Then
100 years later, they might be like, well, it was kind of shady.
like these small hats in Palestine, man. They're justified.
They ain't changed, man. It's the same old devil, man.
Jeremiah 13:23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil.
Esau ain't gonna do good. Esau hasn't done good. He hasn't let you people go. You Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, not only has Esau not let you go, because he's done nothing but lie to you and deceive you this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
He actually plans, and that's why we always go into the prophecy of the MOTB. He plans to completely disinherit you forever and have you in subjection. And that's what the mark of the beast system is all about. To have you, the Israelites, subjected and disinherited forever. You will own nothing. You will be nothing.
Yep.
That is the ultimate goal. So they've never changed. They've never gone away and said, you know what, man, we're sorry for what we've done and we're gonna make it right. They never intended to make it right. It's the Lord that's gonna make it right.
What they intend to do is to fool you.
Yeah,
that's what they did. They fooled you into believing that things have moved on or changed or whatever, but they're still flossing you, man.
Yeah.
Esau's still taking advantage of you.
The Democrats, the left. You think the left is on your side. The left ain't never been on your side either. It's all a hoax.
The system ain't been on our side from day one.
No. They had you thinking Bill Clinton was on your side and Joe Biden was on your side. And man even made mockery. Like, remember when he was in the in a radio show? He was like, yeah, you so-called black people, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Yeah.
Because they position themselves to be the party that supposedly represented
not racist.
for not racism. When they absolutely are racist.
Yeah.
And that's the way the devil operates. It's nothing more than good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
But I watch those detective programs. Real interviews. And I can assure you that both detectives are on the same team. I can assure you that there ain't no good cop, bad cop. When they get you in that,
when they're sympathetic.
Yeah. I can understand, why you feel that. No, he's trying to get you to confess, bro. To send you to Rikers Island, man. There you go.
So we go for Ecclesiasticus 13 from 3.
It's like just one quick thing, man. And the thing is, right, that's in that world, right? Hey, we don't need you to confess. It's fine. You don't need to own up to it, man, because it don't matter. Most High gonna judge, right? And we're gonna be those judges, man.
Yeah.
To lay that whooping on your ass, man.
That's right. So, Sirach, bam, screw out my brain, man. Never trust thine enemy. Yeah. Oh, that's what you. Okay, good.
What's that you got there?
Oh no.
Different one, bro.
Yeah, it's there.
So we go for Ecclesiasticus 13 from 3. The rich man has done long, and yet he threateneth widow. The poor is long, and he must entreat also.
Yeah, that's what all Jakes had to do. Jakes had to bow and scrape and be prosecuted and oppressed in this man's society, man. And now Esau's gonna turn around and he gonna give himself victim status. This is crazy. That's all they're doing, and one of the main things they're using to give themselves victim status in this immigration situation. Oh, they're being invaded, like, you know. All they do on Twitter is cry every day. Oh, the white man. Or on Netflix, they race swap to character. We're under oppression. Like, are you serious? You either might say under no oppression. Like, what are you talking about? You're not
Hey,
victim.
the scripture say you're not in trouble as other men. You don't live the plight that Jake lives, man. You know, you can complain. Hey, there was someone that, you know, prepared to complain about something. There's always people complaining, but you ain't living the hardness, man. You know what I mean?
It's not even comparable.
Jake complained, but they're actually going through some shit.
And at the end of the day, if you are being victimized, you're being victimized by your own people. You're not being victimized by Jake or anyone else, because we're not in power, the position of power and authority. You're not no victims, man. But like I said, they're replacing white guilt with the white guilt, which has been pushed. Right. Is being replaced with white pride and white genocide, white victimhood, and that's a dangerous combination, because when Esau starts feeling like a victim, you're gonna have a problem, because now that he's gonna feel justified to start doing whatever they want to do, and that's really where we're getting to. We're getting to the point where Esau's gonna feel justified to start wiping out certain Jake, man. They call it the silent majority. It's the idea that the majority of Edomites feel this way. They've just been silenced and oppressed all this time, which in a way they were right. In a way that is true. Through political correctness, the Edomites have had to basically hide their racism, even in everyday life. We know that, because me and this brother, we grew up around nothing but stone cold racist, yeah. And we see the transition where all of a sudden you can't find a racist. Yeah.
Where did they all go? They didn't move out. They're still around.
As if their mindset changed. They're still racist. It's just that you can't call me a wog or
they'll get in trouble,
because you could get in trouble for it now. That doesn't mean he doesn't think it.
That's why they all get racist again when they're old, isn't it? When they've got nothing else to lose. Because you always hear it. You always hear it's like, oh, I went to my granddad. He was saying some stuff.
Yeah, man, that political correctness was a smokescreen, but now these devils are coming up from out of that.
I was going to say, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee, but if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
And that's what you're going to start seeing happening, is that more and more, just the people in general to Esau surplus to requirements. They don't need all you bunch of Jakes no more. They can depopulate you Jakes brutally. Because they don't even need you no more. This ain't like back in the day where they needed to stick a bunch of you in the damn Ford factories to build their cars. They got robots for that now. So they're looking at it like, yo, there's a whole bunch of these Israelites that's on the earth here, and we don't even need them more. Let's cut that number down. Let's start taking these people out, because they're a threat, just like in Egypt. They're a threat. There's too many of them. They might rise up in spiritual power and overtake us, man. So we're gonna have to start chipping and destroying them. So,
if thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yeah, he will make thee bear, and he will not be sorry for it.
And he wasn't sorry. What he did to the Native American Indians was an absolute crime of the ages. They didn't just go over there and decided to integrate like they want everyone else to do. Oh, yeah, if you come over here, you won't have to integrate. They didn't go over there to the Americas to integrate. They went over to the Americas, man, and they saw land and they see that people were living there, and they systematically dispossessed our brother Gad, man, in that land. Lied, cheated, did everything they could to get Gad up out of there, man.
Well, and then you check the hypocrisy, man. Russia invaded Crimea, and the whole world is in uproar. So,
yeah, that's a crime against humanity.
Yeah. You know, should be in there. Yeah, you're gonna hear all of that, right? But when it comes to what happened to Gad, what happened to our people, nothing to be said.
Nah, because it was too long ago. That's another thing.
Changed since then.
They're always trying to use time as a justification, man.
If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope.
Yeah, and that's all they done. The political correctness era, the civil rights movement, that was just them smiling upon thee and putting you in hope that things are going to change for you. Meanwhile, they were already planning to put you back in hardcore slavery. Meanwhile, they were already running all kind of underhanded tactics to undermine you to make sure that you never became a strong people in America or in Britain or wherever we may be. They always been using underhanded psychological operations and tactics to break our people down. That's a fact. Everyone knows it. It's just common knowledge now that the CIA, the crack epidemic, was orchestrated by the CIA. But now the Edomite man wants to be the victim. How devastating was the crack epidemic on the so-called Negro to this day? And they were talking about JFK files. Fuck JFK. What about that? Who's going to go to jail? Who went to jail for that? The Edomites are talking about how they want Trump to bring out all the truth. Let me tell you something, man. They can't bring the truth out. You can't handle the truth. If they were to bring out the actual truth for how America's been operating from since the very conception, or the wickedness they've done, it would completely destroy the psyche of America, and it would literally be just puff up in flames right there and then. They can't tell the truth because of the amount of manifest wickedness that they've been doing, man, and evil.
You know, I just thinking because obviously, talk about the whole, these Edomites taking over the land of America, right? This place, God. All these people complain about, all these people complain about what's going on today with Crimea and whatever, right? But what you've done, what these Edomites have done, is worse than what Hitler's the most evil person that existed ever, right? Supposedly in their view and opinion, right? But what they did is far worse than that. Far, far worse. All your leaders that did, when that was America stole all the natives, man, that is worse than what Hitler did.
Infinitely worse.
But no one's a criminal. No one's an evil in America.
Then you demonize them, you dehumanize them. Then you had a whole cowboys and Indians films glorifying how the West was won. And at the same time, though, you're these good Christians talking about love thy neighbor. You Vocab Malone, Ned Flanders coming up to the camp talking about we're going to hell because we're a hate group. That's why, man, I told you, listen, don't listen to these devils when they're trying to come and trying to push some morality on you, man. Stick to the morality that's in the scriptures. We have morality. They don't. Don't let them try and hold you to a standard that they themselves don't hold themselves to. Because you ain't going to hear Vocab Malone coming out against Matt Walsh, because we're going to read the vitriol that he's been spewing.
Well, I was going to say this, man, because justification comes from the scriptures, man. You can't just justify yourself because you feel like it, right? Justification comes from the scripture, from the Heavenly Father, right? There's only one people who have been justified for even the wickedness, right? And that's his people, right? Beginning with the elect, right? You don't get to just justify yourselves and why you did what you did. So we're gonna judge you according to the Most High's word, not according to our own, because it's not about what we believe or what we think in terms of like what should be done to you, right? But the Most High got a judgment against you, and it's justified. It's justice,
This is what you were just saying. This is Ezekiel 25:12. It says, thus saith the Lord power, because the Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended.
Greatly offended them. Beginning with the so-called Negro in America, man. What the so-called Negro had to endure in the shores of. We don't even want to get to like Brazil, the Caribbean. Just in what they had to endure in the shores of America, man. The pain, the oppression, the mental fuckery that Jake has had to go through, right? Which has produced these bugged out Jakes that you see today. They are literally a legacy of what you devils did
and continue
to our people and continue to do. It's unfathomable. The amount of pain and the amount of tears that has been shed by Jake in America off the back of you Edomites and what you've done to our people, man, would fill the ocean, man.
Yeah, you're complaining about some race swapping characters.
Right? You're complaining about some Mexicans coming across the border. You devils, man. But anyway, go ahead, man.
It says, and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom.
See, there's a higher power than you. See, that don't come into your evolution, your scientific racism and all your evolution and all your tactics is all designed in your psychotic mind. You created this false reality where you're God and you get to decide, and you're the supreme intelligence. So you could come up with all this bullshit, yeah, to justify yourself in your own world. And that's what Esau did. People forget that this man is a psycho. This man literally invented science to justify his own evil. Do you know how psychotic that is? That's hella psychotic, man. He invented his own science to justify his psychotic behavior.
Can I quickly get something?
Yeah, go on, man.
Ezekiel 28 verse 9 says, "Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am a God?"
That's basically what you are. You're moving like you're the God, but what you fail to recognize, because even your own God you created. Because when you say you're a Christian, you're replacing the Most High with yourself. The Christians don't believe in the Most High God of the Bible. How could they? How could they? Matt Walsh don't believe in the Most High God of the Bible. Vocab Malone don't believe in the Most High God of the Bible. We do. And that's why when we preach about him, he has a problem. Oh, no, not yeah, because the God you worship is a God of your own creation. The God that's going to justify you at all times when you do what you want to do. That's not the God that's not going to hold you accountable for your bullshit.
Yeah.
That's basically what's going on.
Yep. It says, "But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee. The Most High going to bring judgment against you.
Yeah,
You're not going to be no God then."
but that's the calculation that's the thing that Yahweh Shires was really not in your calculation. Because if it was just us here, you feel pretty confident with that.
Coward, man.
And that's why you devils are moving the way you are, because you feel pretty confident in your status in the world that these other nations ain't really gonna ever coerce.
Who should bring me to the ground?
Yeah, who shall bring me down? We got this thing in the bag. Yeah, but what you don't realize is that there's a higher power, which is unfathomable power. That has already judged you, and that's going to bring you low, man. And there's nothing you could do about it, man. And you ain't going to be able to talk your way out of this one or shoot your way out of this one. I'm telling you, man.
Yep.
It's going to be a mad one, sad one. Go on,
Yep. So Ezekiel 25:13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and will take it, and will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I'll lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord.
It's his vengeance. This is what he got planned for you. For all that you've done. You know, because of that perpetual hatred that you hold.
Yep.
You
And
know?
Matt Walsh, Volcam alone believes the same thing as Matt Walsh believes. That's why he comes against the Hebrew Israelites so hard. That's why he hates the things we say. Because he believes, when we read what Matt Walsh has to say, trust and believe, that's what Volcam Malone really believes in his heart. That's why it angers him so much, yeah? How dare these Negroes say that they're the Israelites? How dare they say that they're a superior people? Because these people all believe that they're superior to us. Even the left, this brother always brings it out, really believe they're superior. They're just coming at it from a different angle. Now, did you look up white guilt for me? So over the last, what would you say, last 20 years, political correctness created this thing called white guilt, where it became acceptable for these left-wing Edomites to run around, talking about how, we're sorry for slavery and that, even though they never did nothing about it, they would have this thing called white guilt, and a lot of Edomites didn't like that. They didn't like the idea of having slavery pushed in their face and being made look guilty and the evil white man. They don't want to be portrayed as being evil, because Esau wants to be the good guy in the story. So you had this,
Can I quickly get this?
Yeah.
That some Wisdom of Solomon 2 verse 11 said, let our strength be the law of justice. So basically, they have the power to decide what's just and what's not just, even if it's just or not. You see what I'm saying? Because they set the rules. That's okay when you're running shit. You can set the rules. It's fine.
And that's what they like about Trump, because he portrays that strength, that unapologeticness that they want. They want that. They want to just be that shut up, nigga. That's really what they want to do. They want to be like, put these Negroes back in their place. Why are they talking? Them talking is holding us back from reaching the heights of the Elven Kingdom. These just entertaining these people and their complaints is holding us back from being great again. They are the problem. We are not the problem. Okay, they're ghetto. We're not ghetto. That's the mindset. We're civilized, and they've always been uncivilized, and we tried to drag them along, and it ain't working. This is the mindset that's being pushed.
Yep. It says for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. They don't respect those that are weaker, and because he's on top, everybody's weaker, right? That's why even Trump, he able to talk down to the rest of these NATO nations like they're nobody.
You're a bully.
You know, he don't respect them.
He's
right?
a bully, man. But righteousness is not supposed to be based upon strength.
Mm.
It's just because a case in point. Someone's weaker than you. So you can just go and take his wife. There's always going to be someone that's weaker than you. That's a wicked spirit.
Mm.
Or someone's weaker than you, so you can steal his shit because he's weaker than you. That's not how it's supposed to work. If anything, you're supposed to defend the weak. The strong is supposed to defend the weak. That's noble. Isn't that noble? That's how it's supposed to be in the village. That's why you always have that raw brer, them raw mans in the village. They're not there to bully the village. They're there to protect the village from other people that's trying to violate.
Yep.
The widow, the fatherless, the orphans. But in Esau's mindset, no, those people, you're supposed to prey upon those people.
Abuse. That's abuse of power, right?
And it's justified because it's like it's a predator thing. Like the lion and the mouse. Yeah. Yeah, we need to get Hannibal down to the camp. Yeah, but it is exactly that. Hannibal does represent the elites, that super intellectual apex predator. That's feasting on the flesh of other people.
Yep.
You know?
That's right. It says verse 12, it says, therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. Right? And this is why we're always in a clash, because you got this, this doctrine that's bred in you of being better, being superior. Right? It's not about religion ultimately. You have a superiority complex. You truly think that you're better. And that we're nothing. It says he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraided us without offending the law. And that's why we're always calling you out. Because you're being a hypocrite. You're acting like you're righteous, man, but you're not. And that's why you don't like what we got to say.
Yeah, we become hate. We become haters, man, because we're calling you out on your BS, man.
Yep. And objective to our infamy, the transgressions of our education. And what the education that's bred in you, man.
Yeah, the American way, the whole American spirit, and the way you think, the way you operate, the Edomite spirit across the board is wicked as hell, and it's been wicked, and it produces nothing but wickedness to this very day, and it's very distasteful because it's super hypocritical. As we're going to show with Matt Walsh, this guy is supposed to represent that Christian values, but as soon as he gets challenged on his BS, man goes full demon, and he forgets about the so-called Christian values that he's supposed to represent, like love thy neighbor, all men were created. I thought they said all men were created equal, and he's trying to tell man about some Stone Age, trying to justify his supremacy. Because they don't really believe in all that. That's all the smoke screen. So why? But guess what? We're not here to put up our own smoke screen, because we'll be honest and say we do believe we're superior to you according to the scriptures. We're not got time to play games and put up a false minority. We're not hypocrites, and that's what we're not here to dance around the subject. You are going into slavery, and yes, we're going to enjoy it because it's justice. We're not, but maybe we're not trying to soften up the thing and put up some false morality that don't exist. We're not going to play vocab Malone, because that's what he wants. He wants us to play according to his game, and that's what them niggers in them churches do. They digest the Bible the way Esau wants them to digest it. Yep. We're not going to do that. Hold on, in the scriptures, where the Israelites, okay, cool. And these men, we're going to get our revenge, put them in slavery. They're going to be destroyed, and that's a righteous thing with the Most High. So then, why am I feeling bad about it then? Yeah. Why is he trying to get me to feel bad about it and try and cast me out as evil? Hey, where's that Spartacus said? Remember, it's just. Why are you trying to? Oh, but you guys, we're haters. We're hate preachers. We preach hate.
Oh no, it's the book of Amos 1 and 11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom And for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pit, and his hunger did tear perpetually, and he kept his love forever.
That's it. You devils are still angry, right? Your wrath prepared perpetually, man. You're still the devil that the Bible speaks of, man, to this day. And we're seeing it. And it's getting more and more and more. And it's gonna build up to that point, the time of Jacob's trouble, man. And you're gonna get that last moment to release all that anger and stress on our people. But it's not gonna end well for you. Because the scripture says,
Purge Day. You know?
yeah, Purge Day, because scripture says the guy that a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last through Yahweh Shai, man.
And the enemy shall come and not the blood.
The Lord shall lift up a standard, man. And then you're going to find out who's superior. We're going to find out who's the more evolved of the species. Damn devil, you got that white guilt.
Okay, fine.
But if you got something before that, read it.
About
Then
that,
we
yeah.
get the white
I
guilt.
was talking about happy, being happy. It says Psalms 137 from 8. It says, O daughter of Babylon, you ought to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us.
Rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. That's called justice. Recompense. But we're vocab Malone and these goofy Christians, you know,
But 2 wrongs don't make a right.
yeah, but then they'll justify slaughtering the Native American Indians, as we're gonna see. Because well, they would. You devils need to get your story straight, man. That's why we don't give a damn. We gonna be unapologetic, but in righteousness.
Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stone.
So in the kingdom of heaven, man, we're gonna be getting revenge even on your little ones because you did it to us. We're not gonna play this game. You killed our children.
You must suffer the way we suffered.
Mothers had to cry. Fathers had to cry, man, because their children were killed, were tortured, hands removed. Congo.
And when you look into that famous picture, man, of like the Jake, and he's like on like a door frame,
Yeah.
and he's leaned back like that against the door frame, and he's just looking at her hand. It basically some of the information is basically that after they basically did that to his daughter, they ate her.
Yo,
But those are the civilized.
these are the civilized people, the civilized immigrants.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, settlers.
Yeah.
That's that civilization, and so here lies the hypocrisy, man. Yeah, go on, man.
2 Thessalonians 1 and 6. To seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
And that's why your whole "Make America Great Again" BS ain't gonna work. For one, your own people is running a trick on you anyway because they're not really trying to make America great again. They're trying to establish the New World Order and the MOTB. But even that, trying to establish that New World Order ain't gonna work, man. Because the Lord has cursed you. You're cursed. The scripture says the wicked is snared by the workings of their own hands. We didn't do it, my man. I know you want to try and throw the blame. You love to blame Jacob, or if not, every crime statistic you're trying to blame it on Jake. Everything's Jake's fault. Jake is the reason. Plane falls out of the sky, or it was DEI. To this day, the investigation hasn't shown what Jakes were involved in it. They just said it, and everyone ran with it. Oh yeah, but it's because of DEI. Oh really? Because if you look at DEI only says they needed to hire about 1%. Or 1 or 2% of their company has to be DEI, and that's not even DEI. Doesn't only include so-called black people. DEI includes white women. It includes older white men,
Disabled people.
any sort of veterans. But they made it look planes are falling out of the sky because they put black people in it. They put black people in there. Oh yeah, okay. Can we get some Can we get some confirmation on that? Is there an investigation?
The thing is the confirmation would just be like one line at the bottom of like when you get like the linked stories and then no one will ever speak about it.
It's the same thing. Like when it comes to us, like when it's stated to them, like you have to prove it's us. You know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. Like instance with the Israelites, you have to go prove it. But these small hands get to say it,
Yeah.
and it's accepted. You know what I mean? You know, because double standards is concerned because he's in control of narratives, man. Right? He gets to decide what's going to be accepted, what's not going to be accepted. But when it comes to demonizing others, yeah, man, they did it. It was their fault, and you just have to run with it. There's no evidence.
There's no scrutiny put on. They don't like to be scrutinized, man. And we've seen that with Vocab Malone. We see that with Vocab Malone because he don't scrutinize them JOOs, even though his theological position is supposed to be against that because he believes in replacement theology, which is completely in disagreement with Zionism. So he should be absolutely on the front lines against. Oh yeah. Well, why ain't he on the front lines? But he's on the front lines against us. Why? Because those people are so-called white. They're Edomites, so they're not a problem. They're part of the status quo.
They're brethren.
We're not a part of the status quo because the status quo of this world is we're supposed to be beneath.
Yep.
And it's that, and that's all he wants. Just go back to being a nigga. I'll allow you to be a Christian. Just be that.
We're part of his thing.
Go to your church and start, you know,
Bring
just go that again, you know.
bringing the flavor. Rachel, you bring that jerk chicken with you, you know?
Yeah,
All that.
and then, you got the food after and all that. Just do that. Don't bother trying to break down prophecies and all that kind of stuff. Don't do all
That's
that.
not for you.
That's not for you.
Bigger brains, you know. We got bigger
That's
brains.
basically what he's doing.
Yeah, this thing is outside of Esau, man. You know, the Lord had mercy, opened us up to this. What you're thinking of, Deuteronomy, the curses said we will go to him for the want of all things. So he's used to us going to Esau, but this is like the first thing. The Lord was like, "Nah, you don't need Esau anymore."
That's it.
Verse 7 says, and to you who are troubled, rest with us. We're the ones that are in trouble. We're the ones being in trouble. We're the ones that went into slavery. Not Esau. Esau ain't been no slavery. You know? America, he's running America. He didn't go. He wasn't the one.
And it's funny, this guy's trying to he's trying to uphold Sakari because there's some worldly niggas, man. So he loves that shit. Man, you think about it, it's so demonic, man. This Al-Azhar character that these men are trying to bring back. You know?
Trouble. So when the Lord Yahweh Shai shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels in flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not the Most High and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who shall be punished with everlasting destruction.
Yeah, the good news is we're going to be redeemed from our sins and redeemed from your hand. From your hand specifically. You are the enemy. It's as simple as that. That is part of the good news. It's part of the gospel.
That's why it says, happy, O Israel. Happy are ye, O Israel. Because we're the ones being delivered out of
Well,
your
we're
hands.
not allowed to be victims. But now Edomites are victims, though. You know, we weren't allowed to be victims. Yeah, you know, pull yourself up by your bootstrap. But now these Edomites can be victims. Now it's white genocide. Oh, they're trying to replace us. Like anyone stopping you from having children. But
One last
you
thing.
know what I mean?
Who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his power.
That's right. Like, can you pull up the white guilt? I was never fooled by white guilt. I think it was BS. We Edomites, because at the end of the day, you come in with all that BS, right? But then are you going to go into slavery? Are you really sorry? Because are you willing to pay the price? So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Unless you're willing to pay the price that's necessary, I don't want to hear all that.
Pay the cost to be the boss. You know?
That's just mouth. That's just lip service. Oh yeah. And if I was back there, you know them ones.
Fading words.
You know them ones there. If I was out there, I would have stopped it.
Oh, you would have got slaughtered as well.
Bro, he was right there throwing the whip, bro. Get out of here, man. If he was there with his Starbucks and in his hand, man, coming out of his condo that his parents bought him.
Soy boys.
Hella convenient position he's talking from. It's just what they call it, virtue signaling.
Yeah.
This is I want to appear like I am good. Of course, I am not racist. Hey, wait a minute, I'm not racist. I've got black friends. Jeremy,
I work with him.
joke thing, man. Yeah. Oh, you got that white.
So this is white guilt.
Yeah, he's got a friend called Jeremy, yeah. Well, lunch break, yeah, because he think up the room with the
Yeah.
something. Man, I was complaining about,
You know how I was
who's been that fishing?
God.
you know what I was thinking about why that's
thinking
racist.
of the place with that.
Yeah, that's it.
But it's like because I was like, right, because they don't complain like that when Moab's bringing their stinky food in the same way. But when Jake is cooking up, some nice, whatever it is, it's a problem.
I ain't working with me, no one.
That fucking fish sauce be stinking out the whole kitchen. I was thinking about it the other day. I was in the office. I was like, right, that's some racism.
Of course, because part of racism is you're always gonna be more tolerable to things that you like than things that you don't like. That's a standard thing. You know, they're not going to be tolerant. It's just like here in the UK. All of a sudden, Jake get into an altercation. We're animals, but I can promise you, go to any football game on the weekend, all you're gonna see is Edomites punching the shit out. I've seen it in my own eye.
Newcastle at the weekend, you know?
Yeah, but I've seen Edomites get into full blown fights, yeah, and the BTP will just come, break it up, yeah. My man's over there leaking. Imagine the man's leaking. That's GBH, right? Man's leaking, blood flowing everywhere, and the man's will stand there, and the BTP will like, oh, what should we do? And they're thinking, right, you know what? Let them go. I'm like, what? These men cause a public nuisance. That's afraid, fighting in public. That's flipping assault, GBH, you know, grievous bodily harm and all that. Them man should be getting put in a van and getting arrested, but they'll get away with it every weekend. Violence, nothing but violence. These men do, and it's accepted, it's tolerated. But then they could run around on the ground screaming and shouting and acting the fool, scaring the children, yeah, and it's accepted. But let a group of black boys run around and do the exact same thing, it won't be tolerated. They'll be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then the police will come, they'll definitely arrest man. And so we know what the game is.
Yeah, whenever they speak about them stats, they never consider that. Because yeah, Jake be getting in prison, but it was something like Jake's like 5 times more likely to be wrongly arrested, and all of those sorts of stats that go on top of that as well.
And you know, it might not even be like a conscious thing that you man do, but it's ingrained in them. It's ingrained. They kind of blind just do it. They got much Jake, you got to do this to Jake. And that's just what it is.
These men will sit there and watch a program about the what's it called, the Cray twins, yeah. Them man slicing people up. They'll watch a program about the Peaky Blinders with the razor blades cutting man up here. Go, oh my, it's brilliant, yeah. And then sit there and tell us that we brought knife crime to the UK. It's insane. It's insane when you think it's actually insane. They will sit there on the Peaky Blinders, mate, and my man slashing people to hell with razor blades. It's like, yeah, and then they'll go look it up. Yeah, did you know that the Peaky Blinders, there was a real gang in Birmingham, and okay, cool. All right, so remind me again how we're the ones that brought knife crime to the UK, because the Peaky Blinders are not black. They were chopping man to shit.
Where we came over, which ones worked for NHS, man?
Like, you know, London's always had knife crime. You could literally, this part of London's history that people were floating down the Thames.
Man, like Jack the Ripper and things.
But I was about to say, what about Jack the Ripper and the Cray brothers and all that?
Like, what are we talking about here? But they'll make it look like, oh, it's just it was immigrated with Jake. It's a joke, man. Because they just, you know, he just plays a blind eye.
We got to be the criminal. That's what it is.
But then they'll make the horror movies of those, like Jack the Ripper and the Cray brothers and the Butchers and all that. But then they'll make it look like some prolific, you know.
Look at what Green, what's it? Green Street and all that. What are they doing?
Essex Boys and all this.
What are they doing? I'm confused. What were they doing?
Even Danny Dye's got a new movie out.
Yeah, he's got a new one.
Some ranting in it. Like,
some Rise of the Foot Soldiers type shit.
Yeah, so what's that?
Rise of the Foot Soldiers.
No, it's just black people. You know, we're the only ones that involved in crime. It's a joke thing. I can't believe it sometimes. I'm like, bro, like, what? So what were them man doing with swords, chopping people? I don't understand what we're doing here.
Showed you that in what's that movie? Snatch.
Yeah.
What's that other one with
Lock, Stock, and all that? Yeah. What are we doing here?
Tyrone was the getaway driver.
Tyrone. And they even got that program recently, Gangs of London, and it's got all the different types of cultures.
He sort of likes to portray things a particular way that's when it suits him.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to be the victim. You know, he wants to be the hero.
Yep.
He wants to be everything at the same time.
The hero.
Psalms 50:16. But unto the wicked must I say, what art thou to do to declare my statute, that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? seeing thou it is instruction, and it casteth my words behind thee.
Yeah, these men have never really established the true principles of the scriptures in any way, shape, or form. And that's how America was founded. And this is the truth of the whole deal. That America was not. I'm gonna read it. Come on, you got me something else about stuff. He admitted that America was founded on colonization. Where was that in the scriptures? Anyway, let's read this white girl, and then we're gonna get to Matt Walsh's comments, man. That demon. And we was with you on the whole a woman but guess what? We didn't need a whole documentary for that. You know what I'm saying? That was just standard knowledge, man. We ain't on these man. Shut up, man. We ain't on these guys' side, man. Fucking demons, man. Go on up.
White
How
guilt.
about Edomite is an Edomite? Let's do that one. What is an Edomite? Do that documentary.
Yeah.
What is an Edomite?
Go
Go on, man.
on. Good documentaries.
Yeah, then it will end up being us. Man.
Oh, everything.
Bro, can
Oh,
be like,
yeah. Yeah, some Arab somewhere.
we'll be watching it like, why is Brogan saying we're the Edomites? I thought he said the Edomites were done away with. Devil, man. Go on,
White guilt is a belief that white people bear a collective responsibility for the harm which has resulted from historical or current racist treatment of people belonging to other ethnic groups. And for example, in the context of the Atlantic slave trade, European colonialism, and the genocide of indigenous people.
Right, so that white guilt has been pushed out there, say, over the last 25 years. And a lot of Edomites didn't like it. They didn't like it being pushed in their face when they're watching films or watching TV programs, the idea of this collective guilt. But no, why I'm not guilty? Why should I be guilty for it, you know? Now they're doing away with that. Now they're replacing that with white genocide. Can you get me white genocide? They're the victims now. So now they're pushing white genocide and they're pushing scientific racism, where they're saying, no, actually, we are the superior people, and we're supposed to subjugate these peoples because their civilization and their culture is inferior, and they're not going to apologize for it.
White genocide conspiracy theory. So the white genocide, white extinction, or white replacement conspiracy theory is a white nationalist a conspiracy theory that claims there is a deliberate plot, often blamed on the JOO, to cause the extinction of white people through forced assimilation, mass immigration, or violent genocide.
Right. So now, through these things, a lot of these Edomites are feeling like they're being oppressed, like they're turning on their TV and they see too many melanated faces on the TV and they're upset about that.
They can't say what they want to say.
That movie the other day, the series they came out with, Adolescence, which I agree. When I watched it, there was a bit of anti-male sentiment in there because they tried to blame the stabbing on Andrew Tate. Right?
Yeah, red pill and all that.
But they're mentioning Andrew Tate. I thought he was cancelled.
Yeah.
You see how it works?
The manosphere.
I thought he was cancelled. Why are they specifically mentioning Andrew Tate?
Because
he's all part of the whole psyop, right? But anyway, it was a good program, especially when they showed the last episode where they showed the effect it has on the parents of the child who's done the stabbing. That's never really been done before.
Yeah, the father.
The father, and it was powerful. But you know all these Edomites are talking about? Oh, the boy should have been black. Yeah, because apparently it is supposedly based on a true story.
It's a true story.
It's based upon multiple, but in the original story, the boy is black. In real life, it's a black boy. So they're saying, they swapped the race of the kid, and then they're crying about it. Like,
yeah, but you do that. So you do that to us all the time. So,
but
you whitewash history all the time.
Yeah, but now when all their characters are getting DEI'd and they're hella upset. So they're the victims now.
So what about programs like Bridgerton and all that? When they put black characters, which were in the Dark Ages, Jake was
they don't like it.
They don't like it. But when you put the mix up, now you want to cry racism. So
they don't like it, man.
You can't have it both ways, man.
They're gonna have it how they want it. That's the thing.
It's it's their kingdom, isn't it?
Right. Is there any more on that white genocide?
So it says it purports that this goal is advanced through the promotion of miscegenation. I'm gonna look up what that means. Miscegenation, MISCEGENATION, is a marriage or admixture between people or members of different races.
Yes, so they're against interracial marriages, which is this old thing coming back again. Because originally that's what they did, right? They banned interracial marriages to keep the so-called white race pure. It's all this old stuff that they had back during slavery. They were bringing it all back again.
I know individuals, man, that not me personally, but when Dad's told me stories about certain people that he's close with, right? And some, black boys go into white families now and they reject the boy because he's black. They don't want him to get with his daughter or whatever the case may be. So that still exists. It's just not spoken about.
Yeah,
They show you that in that movie Get Out.
yeah. They're saying, and Esau's doing it on purpose. Every major fashion company now doesn't really use white male models. They use black male models and white women. But that's on purpose.
Yeah.
They're gaslighting these Edomites and then making them angry because they see that. Yeah, they're doing it on purpose. I knew that from day one. I'm turning on my BBC News and almost everyone on there is ethnic. And I'm like, this is why they're doing this. Yeah, because they want these Edomites to get angry and feel like they're being oppressed in their own country.
Yeah.
All the adverts, look at all the adverts on TV. It's always going to be a black man with a white woman and mixed race kids, or it's going to be a mixed race woman with a black man. It's hardly ever a whole white family when you watch these adverts. Why are they doing that? It's a so-called white country.
It makes it feel like taking over.
Because they're doing it on purpose because the left agenda to make man angry. So you get this reaction that we're seeing now, where these Edomites feel like, I've lost everything.
Because it's funny, man, because Britain is a multicultural place, man. You go and see Jake only and white people. You don't really see, because they hate these foreigners, the Lithuanians and the Polish and all these guys. You don't see them in adverts.
No,
you don't see them in adverts. It's just always the black white.
You don't see a lot of Indian.
You don't see them.
They're trying to. Now this is what Matt Walsh was saying. Because Matt Walsh was on a rampage recently, right? Mr. What is a woman, right? And he's against the immigrants and the illegal immigrants, right? But a lot of what they're saying is from a racist point of view, and it's going to expose it. So it says America is not a nation built by immigrants. America was built by settlers. There's a difference. Settlers ventured out into the wilderness to build a civilization from scratch. So that's all they did, There was just a wilderness out there, and they just ventured into it. They killed no one, didn't steal no land. It was just they ventured into it, and they built a civilization from scratch. The modern immigrant, the brown ones, comes to a place that is already built. Settlers, well, then what? Them Mexicans be doing a hella construction. What are you talking about?
He is hired.
The modern immigrant comes to eat the fruits. So they're a thief, basically. If you cannot see the difference, I don't know how to explain it, right? And then, because obviously people were getting on him about how actually, well, you lot were illegal immigrants too, because no one gave you permission to come over to the Americas and did what he did.
Yeah.
Now the devil in him is exposed, right? Now the supremacist side of him, because he should have just said, you know what, you're right on that.
Have to double down.
He said, without permission from who exactly?
Man don't need permission.
Was this entire hemisphere owned by a ragtag assortment of warring Stone Age tribes? Oh, yes. Yes, it was owned. If you want to call it that, they did own it. Whether you want to call them ragtag, whether you want to call them Stone Age, what was the point of that? What was the point of scientific racism? Saying they're dumb, they're stupid, they're primitive.
But they built pyramids, though.
And what does that have to do? Yeah.
They're dumb,
exactly.
but they built pyramids.
That's another thing. There's a lot of technology that they have that they can't break down. But we're running with that. Yeah, they were ragtag. Does that mean that they can't own land? Is that Christian, Matt Walsh? Because I know you're a Christian, right? Is it Christian to dispossess someone based upon your perceived notion of them being lesser? That's what I want to know. It says, was the advance of civilization? So they weren't civilization. They could never have advanced civilization. Only the so-called white man can advance civilization because he is the most evolved species. He's a superior being. He's the elves, the elven lords. So only he can advance civilization. No one else can do it because we're just monkeys. So he don't need permission. So he don't need no permission for no monkeys, right? No savages. Because that's Christian. Okay, I thought all men were created equal, but whatever. That's for a different debate, right? It says, was the advance of civilization supposed to stop indefinitely at the Atlantic Ocean? Well, Matt,
Why is it up to you?
Matt, you could have went over there and made an agreement to live with them. Matt, you could have went over there and do like a lot of immigrants do that come to the UK and come over there and just work together and live alongside. They're not killing people and taking them out of their houses, Matt. You could have went over there and shared your knowledge with the people if you're so advanced. What you did do was go over there and kill them to
Hey.
take their land, Matt.
And their resources.
So the way he's making it sound is that the only way was to go over there and steal land.
Get rid of them. But this is the thing. Well, this is my point now. Is that who said you had to go do that in the first place? Why couldn't you stay where you was and do that?
Why? That's what I
Why
want to know.
did it have to expand across the
What
whole
happened
world?
to trade? They seem to be good at it.
Mm.
If you needed resources, why didn't you trade for those resources, Matt?
Steal them.
Don't give me the book of Habakkuk, man, warns him that evil covetousness to his house.
The thief comes not but to steal and to kill.
Yeah, well, why couldn't he trade with these Stone Age?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
they
These savages.
What do you mean? Pox. Smallpox. It was smallpox.
Smallpox, blankets.
Yeah, fuck if I can say it's like they when he's talking like this, they forget key bits of history, right? One, conveniently, like they all do, right? It's like you wouldn't have survived your first winters were it not for the native.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
helped
they
you
don't
to
have to
come,
live.
they nursed you back to health.
And a lot of these natives that were so savage wanted nothing but peace with you. But you didn't want peace with them because you were so covetous.
Yeah. You saw the resources,
Exactly.
and that's it.
You weren't immigrants and you weren't settlers.
No.
You were invaders. Look up the word invader, somebody. Use it right. Since you invented English and you're this intellectual, why don't you use the correct terminologies that more rightly describes what you was? You were an invader. You invaded their land and colonized it. And I'm still waiting for the Christian justification for that out of the Bible. Because as far as I remember, when Paul was going out there on his travels, right, he wasn't doing no colonization and no conquering and no lands. He was spreading the gospel.
Hmm.
So I don't remember where it's in.
And he weren't came for killing nobody who didn't believe it.
I don't remember all that. I don't remember all that being in the New Testament. Right?
But the invader says the word invader comes from the Latin verb invadere or invader, meaning to go, come, or to get into, enter violently, penetrate into as an enemy,
That's it.
assail,
You
assault,
came as an enemy.
make
Came
an
with
attack on.
subtlety, right? Because you didn't go, okay, fair enough, you didn't go straight for the warfare because you were all fucked up by the time you get to the store, right? You was all fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
So the natives helped your ass, right? They helped you, they accepted you, right? And helped your ass. And then all you could think about is how we're going to take this land off them. That's all you could think about, right? So you came with subtlety, and then you broke them all off.
And then the last part here says, which is formed from in, meaning in, and Vader, like Darth Vader, meaning go and walk.
Outsiders, man.
Yeah, it is. Wait, you went into the wilderness, yeah? Devils.
Yeah.
It says,
Well,
That was already out
that's
there,
why the
man.
scriptures call them a vagabond
Yeah,
and a fugitive, because they're all the vagabonds, a wanderer, someone that hasn't got a homeland. Yeah, you're wandering into other people's homelands and stealing shit.
It's not our home.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
neither keep us at home.
This
Yeah.
is you, man.
Yeah.
That's why the scriptures it clearly defines who these Edomites are.
devils.
You know, it's you guys.
And you got to look at the terminology. Why did he describe them as a ragtag bunch of Stone Age tribes? He's belittling them.
Yeah.
And by belittling them, trying to justify, like, yeah, they were just a bunch of
Savages.
ragtag.
Savages, same thing.
Why should they own a whole landmass?
Innit?
They don't know what to do with it. Yeah, they don't. They
It's too much
ain't got a
land.
cinema complex. You know, it's a cinema complex. They don't know what to do with this.
That's a wicked spirit.
It's
You're
still the
trying to
retail
justify
part.
your how should that guy have that car?
Yeah.
Why you don't know how to drive that car properly?
Can't rev it in the 6th gear.
Man, dude, that's wicked. Why should that dude have that gal?
That's wicked as well. Huh?
That's that covetous nature. Have we got that? Go on to him. Let's read that. That's that covetous nature, man, and that scientific racism.
Yeah.
The advance of civilization.
Look at the advance you've done, though. Look what's happened to the earth since you advanced. Destroyed it.
When he,
Yeah, go on.
and I say, because when he went into the Americas, right, he stopped living in harmony with the land.
Yeah.
Right, so, like, for instance, he what was one of the things he did?
Well, the land was in harmony before he went there. The land
Yeah, it
wasn't.
was
God
in
treated it in a proper way.
exactly.
But they was always on the move, right? So the land's got to recover.
So, well, they weren't always on the move.
Well,
Some of the tribes are on the move.
okay.
But they
Some
kept
of
to
the
the customs
tribes
of the Lord.
used to migrate, but some of the tribes used to also farm. He killed them. That's because they said a lot of lies. They had God had buildings and things like that. He
Yeah.
destroyed them. Like
Yeah.
he's a fucking liar, man. Just like how when he went over to the Americas, they destroyed a lot of the technology and a lot of the cities that they found there, man, because they wanted to push that whole thing of they were just some dumb savages, which is a lie. They had cities, man. They had technology, man. They had numerical systems and astrology and
Yeah.
and a civilization.
Yeah, where they get the Mayan calendar from if they didn't have no?
Yeah, they had shit, man, but they're just savages. They're ooga booga. That's what he tried to do.
Still trying to study that to this day, the Mayan calendar.
Yeah, they had a knot system,
Yeah.
and they still don't know how to break down the knot system because it wasn't based upon binary. So,
This is the book of Habakkuk 2 and 9. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high.
and that's all you did, Matt. Let's stop playing the games. You coveted an evil covetousness. You saw a land that you wanted, and you coveted it to yourself so you could advance yourself, not advance civilization, so you could advance yourself, so you could set your nest on high. So you did it. You became the chief people in the earth through stealing the new world. All the gold and all the resources you got from there, you use that for your global empire. And that's fair enough, Matty. But let's not start playing games here and try and make it look justify it based upon Stone Age tribes. Because that's got nothing to do with it. That's like saying, oh, my man over there, he didn't pass his GCSE, so I could just go and steal his house. What's this all about, man? What are you doing? Where is this morality coming from? But you're the same devils that's good Christians, right? Love thy neighbor, right? All men were created equal, right? This high morals that you have. Damn devils. Is there more on that? Let me finish reading this.
As the Lord said, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil.
There you go. You want to become rich so you can live your life and be delivered from the power of evil. But the riches ain't going to deliver you from the power of evil. Evil's going to come on you, sir.
Everything you've done to further yourself. But you didn't. It's not like you did it for the sake of the bold
Mankind.
Yeah. It wasn't about that, right?
Boldly go where no man has gone before.
Otherwise, you would never need to destroy Gad in the first place. But they didn't benefit from what you did. You always got a couple.
No,
of
but
casinos now.
they got reservations
Yeah.
now and mobile phones.
Great. You know,
They can speak English.
but they had more before you got there.
They can speak English. You know what I mean? Fuck.
Fucked up, man.
Yeah, go on, man.
This is the book of Micah 2 and 7 from the top. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away.
Is that not you? Is that not Esau?
And that's two scriptures that said, woe unto that person. Not good. Not blessed be that person. Woe unto that person.
What was the bloody cities?
Yeah, full of light.
So how can you expect America to be prosperous? Or forever? Because you think America can be forever, right? How could you expect such a place, how it's founded, to last forever, man?
And he's admitting here they didn't need no permission. That's some bad man talk. That sound like Vibes Cartel. We don't need no permission. They basically say, well, who are these men to give me? We don't need permission from some flipping ragtag tribes or from whoever.
Some teeth there.
But if I see it, I just take what I want here. That's the spirit man's coming with. Is that a civilized spirit? Just take that. Take that.
What happened to democracy? You know what I mean?
But then they say the blacks, when they see Jake robbing up the iPhone store, oh, they're uncivilized. I'm confused. I'm confused. The iPhone store staff weren't ready, bless. The man just took that. I'm confused.
And they didn't help nobody.
Are you allowed to steal or you not? You have to ask permission or not? I'm confused. What's it based on? Go on,
So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
There you go. So it says here, it says, what exactly should the Europeans it's gonna get good, bro. So the indigenous, and he put that in quotation marks as if to say they're not the indigenous. First of all, the Native American Indians, right? Oh man, what's that? Second Esdras, is it 12? You know, it talks about they went to a land where no man had dwelt. First of all, the natives of the Northern Kingdom didn't go over to the Americans and steal that land from someone else. Nobody was living over there. They claimed that land righteously. There was no one living there. They went there specifically because there was no one living there.
I read it in the Apocrypha.
The problem was getting whoever gets it first.
Yeah.
You lost it.
So 2nd Esdras chapter 13 and verse 40. So those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king.
What was that date?
724.
Right. 724 BC, right? So then you put that 700 years, because he's going to put his foot in his mouth in a second too. So let's call that 700 years, then coming forward to where we are now, 2000. So that's like
Nearly 2,000 years.
when they got to the Americas was like 1400s, right? 12, was it?
Yeah, mid 30, 1492.
1400.
Yeah.
So 1400 plus 700 is okay, cool. So it's about 2000 years.
Yeah, just over, yeah.
Those are the 10 tribes which carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king, whose son of Manasseh, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
That another land was the Americas, because the Americas is a landmass which is completely disconnected from Europe, Africa, and Asia, because Europe, Asia, Africa, and Asia is really one mega landmass. Because you can walk from France to China and then walk from China to South Africa. Walk.
Angea.
You could do that because it's all connected. Asia, Europe, and Asia. And the elder Malcolm X always goes into that Europe is really Asia.
Yeah, they call it Asia, isn't it?
It's all really one
Asia Minor, Asia Major.
big landmass.
Yeah.
But America's not connected. Now, Esau tried to lie and invent this thing called the Ice Age and something called the Bering Strait. And they lied and said that the natives went over to the New World from China through the Bering Strait, which that's not the account that the natives give. The natives said they migrated north across the Mississippi. Now, you ain't going to migrate north across the Mississippi if you came from that way in the first place.
When you made your way up.
You made your way up. Then you get the Inuit people, which is God as well. They migrated up. So no, they didn't come across in no Stone Age 20,000 years ago. That's all lies. They were over there for about 2,000 years by the time Esau got there.
Yep. Settled.
And that's why they had great civilization, great pyramid-like type structures, man. You know, that them things will take some short time to make. That was a long time to build them things, man. You know, they were there a long time. Verse 41 says this: but they took this counsel among themselves, the Israelites, or the 10 tribes, that they would lead the multitude of the heathen.
Right, because all the different peoples were living in that landmass, which is Asia, Africa, whatever you want to call it. They were living in that region. There was no one over there in the Americas at that time. That land was virgin land, so to speak, untouched.
Yep.
But
Now you had people that might have gone over there, took resources and come back, but there was no established people over there.
No.
Go on up.
And that was 3,000 years in history because King Solomon sent naval teams, the Zidonians and all that over there to the Americas, the Olmecs and all that, left relics,
to bring back
resources, exotic resources and that.
Yep.
So no one lived over there. It was a nomad land, basically.
They didn't go over there and kill no one for that land,
No one.
like you did.
Yeah.
So that they would lead the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Where never mankind dwelt. So they are the indigenous people, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matty. Little Matty boy. Go on.
And it says, that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land, because it's been interfered by the heathen.
So they went over there to keep the law, which they didn't keep. And that's why the devil came upon them.
Yep. All right. Do you want to read more?
No, that's it on that.
Okay.
So it says, So it says, why exactly should the Europeans have stayed out of that fray? Well, you should have stayed out. Oh, I missed a bit. So the indigenous came here and killed each other over the land for centuries. So what he's alluding to is there was infighting between Gad, the different Gad tribes. There was infighting between Issachar, right? Which that's true. We're not going to say that's not true. Okay. So he's using it as a justification. He said the indigenous came here and killed each other over the land for centuries. Why exactly should the Europeans have stayed out of that fray?
Because you don't want blood.
Well, hold on.
You obviously want
I
blood.
thought they were Christian though. Doesn't the scripture say to love thy neighbor as thyself? So what he's saying is because the natives were killing each other, why shouldn't we go and kill them too?
This is the answer to wipe them out. So it's peaceful.
But you're Christians.
Yeah.
Esau always needs a some kind of way out, justification, worm way out. You know,
If they just say
John
John
3:16 for
3:16
themselves. They forget the more they say for themselves.
John 3:16 says God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
But I thought love worketh no ill to his neighbour.
that came from England to the Americans.
Yeah.
I'm confused, man. I thought that you guys were Christians and you had good Christian morals and values. So why are you on the internet justifying the killing of another people based upon they had beef with each other? So why shouldn't we jump into the beef as well?
That's that devil spirit.
That's that devil spirit. So if I see two men over there fighting over a piece of bread, yeah, I'm just gonna just go over there and just fight it. Like, let me jump in for the bread too.
Take man's phone while I'm at it. You know what I mean?
What I mean, that's the same mindset they take with Jake from the West Coast of Africa, saying, "Oh, them tribes were having wars anyway, so it was fine to just have them in slavery."
Well, look, this is Romans 22:28. Remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set.
Proverbs.
Oh, what did I say?
Romans.
Damn, man.
Yeah, you had them demons Romans on your mind.
What's that pleb?
That's great. Proverbs 22:28. Remove not remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. And that's what they did, man. There was no justification to go over there and do anything. Matter of fact, it's against the scriptures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just whatever internal disputes or the internal wickedness that's going on, that's actually not to do with you.
None of your business.
That's not justification to go and rape, rob, murder,
That's the
shake someone's land.
That's the same shit they're doing today.
Right.
BB and them.
Because so now even they're all on that, and all these devils in England and all that. Slavery. You know, they're always trying to get a way out. It wasn't us, or
We ended slavery.
we ended it. Well, they've got new ones now.
It's like the end of the war, right? It's
Because
like
of
open blocks.
immigrants and all that. So, yes, man. Now they're trying to say, oh well, they're getting information. Well, you guys, you enslaved each other. That's old arguments, man.
But so what? What's that got
That's
to do?
old. That's argument.
That didn't make you right for doing it.
Justified.
Yeah, so y'all are gonna pay for what y'all did, man. That's it.
So he went on to say, what moral or legal right did the Stone Age people, he calling, they're not people, they're Stone Age people.
Barbarians, Stone Age.
He says, what moral or legal right did Stone Age people have to possess an entire hemisphere of the earth,
Who are you to decide that?
even as they slaughtered and tortured each other over the same
That's got
territory?
nothing to do, you go.
So there you go. And this is the right wing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we should have took the
oil. Go there and take it.
And then he got so triggered, the full demon came out where he said, he then tweeted because he was going full demon, man. Let me see if I can find it. I gotta go back and listen to this whole. He says, yes, this country was born through colonization and conquest, and I am very proud of that fact.
Wow. Man,
So basically what you're seeing now is all these right-wing Edomites are bringing the Edomite consciousness back to that old Andrew Sharp Knife imperial mindset of we're not going to apologize, we're not sorry for nothing. What we did was right. You're just a bunch of savages, and that's that. That's the spirit that they're pushing now. These same Christians. Remember, these are Christians, and they're fully justifying the colonization and the conquering, the slaughtering of the Native American Indians, man, and the subjugation of the so-called Negroes.
Yeah, if I could say as well, it's like at Drake, they're trying to say they were warring, but okay, so if you were the Europeans at that time, how many wars were you lot having?
Yes,
During
so
that
someone
day?
have come and just killed you.
Exactly.
But that's not in the scriptures, though. This is the point. So then when you see these guys at Vocab Malone trying to debate us coming from that Edomite Christian point of view, just know it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit because these men don't have no morals that they stand on. Because if they had morals, when they went over there, they would have just traded. And they would have bought land righteously. And if man didn't want to sell the land, you just leave it. Yeah. But they didn't do that. They went over there with a covetous spirit and built themselves up. And now in 2024, they're just unapologetic about it.
And what I said, they came with the sword, right, to take, right? But that's Esau's blessing. He was blessed with the sword, right? That's how he gets things. He was given an allotted land that was his, right? He has no business outside of his allotted land. And you know what these men are doing over here, over there has nothing to do with him. Nothing at all. Right? When the Israelites got into our land, we didn't care what he was doing in your own lands. We wasn't coming over trying to take land off you. We weren't trying to do that.
Yeah, that's where you got that Gaza Palestine thing right going on right now. That's none of their land.
That's it.
That's our land, man. You know what I'm saying? They don't belong to none of you. None of y'all want to talk about this. That's our land. Y'all gonna find that out. This is in Proverbs 21:1. Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them, for their heart studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. Like that's what they do. The experts of their blessing was a sword, so they're experts in rape, robbing, murdering, destroying, confusion, all of that, sneaking, all that. They're the experts in death. You know what I'm saying? That's right now, they're still doing the same thing all over the planet. The warmongering, all this World War III talk is because of them, because we ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? All this talk of these niggas in World War III, what I got to do? Y'all are the warmongers, man. You want to talk about Jakes to the Jakes, yeah, fine. They're wicked ass niggas. Cool. But what about you guys, man? You guys right now about to start nuking planet Earth and destroying planet Earth. How crazy is that? How crazy is that, man? They can say that, but these motherfuckers are getting ready to nuke planet Earth itself. But they want to talk about some black wars or some tribal demonic disputes of ignorance. Y'all, what about your ignorance? Your ignorance is going to cause planet Earth. Right.
But they're admitting that they built their civilization on block wars. That's what he just admitted. He said that they was fighting over the land. We just came and we just killed them and took it. Why shouldn't we have got involved?
It's fair game. We always.
So it's just they're so backward and so. On one hand, they try to hold that moral high ground. Well, on the other hand, they're just admitting that you don't have no moral high ground.
Yeah.
That when it comes to it, at the end of the day, you just the gangster.
You saw opportunity. And took it.
Admiral spirit of demons comes back. That's what they really are.
That's it.
And that's
And-
what I'm
and-
saying with this
Reform Party and all
that
them.
kind of stuff. And they was, they're all on that.
And another thing to remember, don't forget that you had the hand in all this division as well. Not saying they weren't divided and speaking them before that, but you played a hand in the further division that came later. With the divide and conquer, man. You did that.
Yeah, they utilized it. Basically, they did the same thing that Caesar did in Gaul. When Caesar went into Gaul, they utilized the same tactic that Caesar did. He saw that this tribe don't like this tribe, so we're going to go to this tribe. And we'll say, okay, if you help us take down this tribe, then once we've taken down that tribe, we'll split it up between us. And then that's what they did. That's what divide and conquer is. And then so by the time you've done that, then they turn around and they're going to mess you up as well. And that's what they did with there was tribes that were like, oh, we don't like them man over there, so we're going to side with Esau.
Yeah.
But then they found out that Esau weren't with them.
Can't be trusted.
But, okay, that's fine. But how does that justify Esau though? That's what I want to know. In that
That makes
situation,
you even more.
how does that make you right?
That makes you even more the devil, man.
Then they'll say,
They put that in the Geronimo.
yeah,
man.
Geronimo,
Yeah, that-
Always talk about it.
Warriors tribes.
Geronimo said to the other sellout,
Yeah.
he sided with Esau the whole time. He's ass ended up in the concentration.
Yeah.
camp, in the
Selling
shop,
out. Yeah.
getting ready to go. And Geronimo said to his ass, he said, "Listen, man,
They're gonna
oh no,
betray
he's
you."
one of his boys because he always got them hitters right next to him." He said, "I don't remember his name. I can't remember his name.
Probably Tonto or some shit like
Right.
that.
So, you know, and he just said, like, that's all he said. He's looking at him, he didn't want to look.
Fucked everything up, man. Trust me, Esau fucked everything up.
Never trust thine enemy, man.
That's right.
Let me go back to this because it says through wisdom is it says for their heart study of destruction, Esau's house, our heart studies destruction, the development of these weapons, these missiles.
The wickedness in his bed.
Right, these different weapons of mass destruction that he created. You know what I'm saying? Tanks, jet, all of this shit. It takes a war. It's a demon.
Let's take machine guns to take out Gad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just on violence. Maximum.
So for their heart study of destruction, man, and then lip talk of mischief, and we all know that they say got fought up.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Dad was saying about the cat. The slippery serpent Aston, man, in that mouth.
Hey, you start involved so much with that, man. You have to develop new weapons just to hit the lads. You know what I mean? More violence, more bloodshed.
Smoking out of the lip.
You want it that bad?
They're gonna pay, see, because now I'm glad that these right wingers, right, are bringing that spirit to the forefront, and it's making our job easier.
Yeah.
Because now we can show exactly how they have always been, and these are the Christian ones. Never forget that Matt Walsh represents the Bible Belt. He represents the guy that's banging the Bible the hardest.
Yeah.
Them are the mans that's running around thumping the Bible the hardest. And he's like, yeah, we should have killed them niggas, man. Them niggas was Stone Age. That's what he's been saying. So then our job is easier. When we tell you that Esau is a devil, and we tell you that the time of Jacob trouble is coming, and that the same devil that did all those things is going to do it again, now you should believe. Because Matt Walsh is showing you that he is Andrew Jackson.
Yep.
Him and his people it's Andrew Jackson. Oh, that was 200 years ago. No, Andrew Jackson is here today.
Yep.
It's the same devils with the same spirit, same justifications, same. Oh, they're low IQ. They're just animals. They're just beasts. They're just savage. They're just violent. They just find different words to say the same thing.
Yeah, you know, it's right now they're in this pretty much because they're in a situation where they already conquered Jake and they were just chilling. So that's why nothing like, but they're like dormant devils. You know what I'm saying? Given his right circumstances,
rouse up.
things that are popping up, you know, the real them comes out. That's why I never trust thine enemies. Because it's the same devil, man. He will lick you right. You thought it was good. Craig, I thought, you know what I mean? Craig, and all that. Right? But as we're seeing, like, all this stuff happening geopolitically, the borders, they're losing the plot. They're talking about slavery. But that ain't even, you know, really, you guys, they're crashing out.
They're blaming us for everything.
All of,
You know, it's always us. Everything that's going wrong in Britain is us. But that's it. Can someone also get the time of Jacob trouble, man?
I got some
That's
real
what these
quick.
devils are really gonna come. They're really gonna come upon Jake, man, and they're building it.
Oh, you got
And
something?
the more
Hold
that
on.
these voices are making, Matt Walsh is mainstream. Matt Walsh is big in that right wing category. He's a celebrity. He's big, and if he can come out and say that, remember before you get cancelled for some shit like this.
Yeah.
Well, all that cancelling shit gone out the window. This is how the people feel. This is the majority. What they call the silent majority is happy now because they're like, finally, someone's saying what we all been thinking.
And Trump
Fuck George Bush. Saying that. Fuck these dudes, man. We ain't gotta accept them. We ain't gotta pander to them.
Yep.
the Karen, the men, they're all crashing out.
Yeah.
Get them out of the football.
Bro, a bitch done that to me the other day, bro. In my own estate like area, I'm standing on the pavement, bro. The bitch asked me, "Do I need help?" I'm like, "Bruv, what do you mean? Do I need help?" So like she's walking her dog. It's like I said, "Look, take your racist ass down the street. Yeah, don't talk to me, bro."
USA, so we want to know Hey, like, it's full of carrots, man. It's not full of carrots, man. Saying what you think.
Try to do that
They
passive
don't,
shit,
they
bro.
don't want Jake in that football team.
Right, they
Hate that they hate that the football team is full of Jake and mixed race Jake. And it's even full of mixed race Jake that look white. Like Cole Palmer. They're like, oh, we had one there. You know what I mean? Man's cartel's cousin or something. Palmer.
if you ever sit down and you're drunk, you're all right. You always say that. What does that mean?
Hey, you're one of the two. Oh, wait, the fucking empty guts.
That's crazy, man. It's the Proverbs, I'm going to finish this. It's the Proverbs 24. It's straight. That's his head off the table. But I mean, that ain't happening because, you know, I ain't been talking to these motherfuckers like that.
Yeah, and this brother knows that he goes everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Knows what these devils are like all over the country.
Yeah. I'll be rolling up in their town. Just me. I'll roll up in that pub. You know what I'm saying? I'll roll right up in that motherfucking pub, man, and have a drink. They have motherfucking towns. Yeah. You got white jakes, you know, you got a lot of white jakes and shit like that. Yeah, no more. You know, that, but, right. Proverbs 24:3. Through wisdom is an house builded, and by understanding is it established. That's the right way to build a house and build it all right.
And through righteousness. And you didn't do it. You didn't do Matty. Matty, your
the righteousness
wasn't built on righteousness. Man. That is not how a righteous kingdom is established. The Most High wasn't with you on the right hand side. He said,
I got more of this, bro. And it says, and by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Mm. So, you know, the wisdom leads to a kingdom. So our kingdom's going to be built the right way. Esau's kingdom weren't built the right way. It's built up his demonic, death and destruction spirit. All these chemtrails, all these health issues and all that, and him not pushing the herbology and all that. That's him. You did that. You still doing it, man. You take that. There ain't no way out of this. Everybody knows you did it, nigga.
Bro, they even got hotline numbers for like young cancer patients now. Before it used to be for like elderly people. Like now it's got young hotline cancer patients for young teenagers. Like advertising it. Like.
But they are part of civilization, huh?
Yeah. And supposedly they cure cancer, but everyone's still getting it.
Fucking all the uranium, exposed to the field. You know what I mean? Everything. Teflon pans. You know what I mean? Like you're getting sick and getting cancer because you're in charge.
Don't worry, he gonna have a back.
Yeah. They're more worried about the Tesla factories and all that.
It's crazy. Yeah. Further down to the white. Well, this is the next. I'll read the next two. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increases strength. But by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war. So there's actually there's a right way, the righteous way to you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the Lord is supposed to be. If you build a kingdom, like for instance, when we came out of Egypt, a great example is the Lord didn't just say, take to him. Yeah, take. The Lord didn't tell us, see them Moabites, take anyone you come across, just take their land. You actually read the account of us coming out of Egypt, even though the other nations were scared, the Lord told us specifically, see these Moabites here, don't touch none of their land. See the Ammonite, don't touch none of their land. Your land is specifically the land of Canaan that I promise you. Because the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof.
And the Lord had the judgment against the Canaanites.
Yeah, because it was cursed.
And the Edomites too. Remember when we said, listen, man, we'll just take the King's Road through your land. We won't touch that, and anything we take, we'll pay for it. That's what we did, Esau. And we said, and then you said, no, we can't come through the land. And we said, all right, cool, we'll go around them. That's how a civilized people operate. No, you weren't civilized, man. You were the devil. You just went and took and stole and killed and murdered and raped to get what you want. This is the reality. And if you build your kingdom on wickedness,
it comes down.
Yeah, doesn't stand.
Deuteronomy 19:14. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Lord Jehovah thy God.
So what if they're Stone Age? What if there's some ragtag Stone Age tribes? You can do it, right?
What are these?
You meant to have pity upon them.
What pity for what?
No, but like if they're doing so well, no, but if they're doing so well, right? We're doing so good, and you're looking at all the men's lives to be better. They didn't go there with the mind to help them.
By Stone Age, what they're trying to say is that their tools were only of stone. But if but obsidian and that is fucking it's hella sharp. What's the problem? Well, I don't see what the issue was. The issue was is that you just wanted their land that you saw, and you took it for yourself because the Lord allowed you to do that.
Yeah.
That wicked demonic spirit, you went over there and you did what you had to do, masquerading as a Christian, and now you're gonna have to pay for it.
Just on that Christian part, they'll say it's manifest destiny.
Yeah, it's another thing. They justified it.
That's why they
said it's
justify it.
manifest destiny. They even went as far as saying that America is Canaan and called themselves the Israelites.
Yeah.
And they said so they treated the God like they were Canaanites.
That's the Monroe doctrine.
Yeah.
The Monroe.
That was
Dr.
after.
Monroe, Dr. Monroe.
The Monroe, you're talking about how they dealt with the America specifically, how they dealt with dealing with the
nation.
the South American nation. I'm talking about before that.
Mm.
On the manifest destination, when they went there, they said this land is the land of Canaan, and where the Israelites
Holy
and America is the promised land.
Yeah.
So these men were always twisted up in the mind because the Most High never told you all that. You just made all that up.
Yeah. And then the biggest story behind it all is that all of that was financed by the small hats, man. Like, you know, the Spanish conquistadors, majority of them were all small hats, like your guy Cristobal Colon. You know, he was the actual
Which
small
they're
hat.
going to get you out of the other Edomites.
No way.
The small hats are Edomites.
Yeah.
They're just your head.
That's it.
So even that ain't going to get you off the hook. Because that's what the next thing they'll try and do. Well, it weren't us. It was just, no.
Guess what? The British went over there. The French went down there. The Spanish went down there.
They're all
All down
Edomites.
there.
Everyone was
Take a bit of land.
They're all Edomites.
Bargain style, bro.
Amalek is a tribe of Esau.
Yeah.
No, let's not try and pull a fast one now. That's what they'll try and do. Yeah.
Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
Yeah, Matt Salakia. Matt, colonization and conquering of the Americas was evil, Matt. Matt, it was evil.
You can't justify that.
Matt, it was evil, Matt. What are you doing, Matty? It was evil. You did just talking about it like it was just Matt, it's evil.
Sailed across the Atlantic Ocean to put people into captivity, man.
But you did it in the name of so-called peace. Like,
And he said he's proud of it. He said, I am proud of it.
Yeah.
I am proud that we did it. And that's that spirit that Trump has brought back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're proud. You know, yeah, man,
Proud
we killed
of
them. Yeah, that we're proud of it. And I'll do it again. That's the spirit they're in. And they are going to do it again. The time of Jacob's trouble.
Verse 2.
Where's vocab, man? I want to add vocab. Where's vocab, man? Vocab, you need to talk to your boy Matt. Because Matt is pushing genocide. He's
Not being very Christian.
He's not being very Christian, is he, man? Well, vocab ain't going to say nothing. And Matt reaches a lot more people than we do. Matt Walsh reaches, he's a lot more popular in America.
He's a bigger threat than we are.
He's pushing genocide and colonization.
Yeah, we fear. We fear for our lives.
Verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
The tribe of Reuben and Canada too.
Yeah.
It's not, we're not going to leave Canada too. You know, the Canadians were wicked too. They stole the land from Gad.
Yeah.
The Canadian devils. They
French,
stole the land from
French.
Gad.
Yeah.
The French too. Yeah.
who was at the fabric?
Mexico,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Spain, and the Portugal.
Oh,
You
yeah.
stole.
Canada.
Mm.
Yeah.
You went over there and you stole and you used all kind of excuses. Or they're savages, or they're ungodly. Bare excuses you came out, and then you became ungodly. You were being ungodly when you were doing that. You were meant to just supposed to hand out Bibles.
Yeah.
That's what you was meant to be doing since you so Christian. You should have went over there, taught man the gospel, and did some trade. You didn't do that. You decided you wanted to subjugate and colonize and conquer.
Well, bro, the scalping came from the French, innit?
Yeah, they started that.
They started that, and then the Gadites returned the favor.
Retaliated.
That's why. Then they say God did it, and we're like, no, it was them who were doing it. They were scalping them, and then even putting prices on their head for
for coins and all that, and then they will return the favor. But then history says God started it.
Yeah, but that's
Like with the French motherfucker, that's some Edomite shit, cutting your limbs off.
Come
on, man.
Bury my heart and wounded me. That massacre,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's what.
The reason they did that massacre to those people was because they lost the battle to Gad earlier.
Yeah.
But what was the battle all about? The battle was because they were trying to take Gad's land.
Yeah.
And Gad won the battle.
So,
And
what,
then-
so what the fuck was you doing
And
there
then
in the
they came
first
and
place?
massacred
Oh,
them.
because they went involved with the beef. Right.
Well, even American history is a lie because even most of the wars America really lost was all to really the tribes. Most of the wars America lost was to the tribe, but obviously the Lord had to have the tribes get taken over. But they were really getting killed really
That's
when
why
it,
prophecy was that, overcome God.
Yeah.
God will overcome the lot.
Yeah.
You know, so it had to be that the tribes went down.
They had to go
What
down.
happened to live by the sword? That's what the Lord said, right?
The Esau got embarrassed a lot of times in America. The Midwest, the South, the Eastern, the nations. They were really killing a lot of Edomites in them battles, man. The Midwest places, but then obviously over time they had to lose. Prophecy.
They have become the victim.
Yeah.
This is what Esau does. Every time he always has to play the victim to then justify, okay, we got to do more killing.
I mean, massacring you basically.
When you're not the victim.
You're like October 7th.
The Lord had to give them a whole bunch
Yeah.
of weapons to take down God, man.
Yeah,
What's
just
this one doing the thing?
like October 7th, we made an excuse to go massacre with them.
September 11th.
Yeah, September 11th.
Same doctrine.
This is Ecclesiasticus 15, 20th verse. He have
Yeah.
commanded no man to do wickedly, neither have he given any man license to sin.
There's no justification for what the devil did. Even though you're trying to justify yourself now, according to the scriptures, there's no justification. So there has to be a recompense for what you devils have done.
That's right.
And there will be a recompense. And I'm glad, listen, Matt, I'm glad you came out and you're just saying it like how it is. You're being an honest devil, in a way. Because it's good for us. It's good for us. We can highlight this thing, and I'm going to go over your little 12-minute video where you were going in hard, and we're going to do more responses. I'll put it in the group. Brothers do responses for these devils, man. And let's see if Vocab Malone is going to do a response to Matt Walsh and all this evil that he's pushing into.
Well, you know, one thing remember Vocab, remember months back, years back, remember one of the things he didn't like what we were teaching was reincarnation.
Yeah.
Because now if it's reincarnation, you gotta
pay
go,
for
you
what
gotta
your
pay for
father
what you
did.
did. But they don't want anyone to deal with that.
No.
That's biblical, bro.
Yeah.
The scriptures talk about you know, the reincarnation.
Reap what you sow,
You're back
innit?
again.
You reap what you sow.
Bro, think about it. Every single Jake in this world is at the bottom of this planet. Why? Because they're born again in the system that the oppressors set up, man.
Yeah.
So that ain't by coincidence. Shouldn't some of us just be born rich then? No, we're born because you fucking fucked the motherfuckers up back, our people up back then.
It's a legacy.
So we're born again in your world. So you're born again on top, and you're gonna be born in the next world to go down.
That's right.
That's it. That's how the Lord does it. People don't understand judgment.
Amos chapter 1 verse 11. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever.
You know, hundreds of years. You got something that happened like in one event.
Yeah.
Hundreds of years, man, systematically, just breaking people down, man.
And he's gonna go from back to peace, you know. And the others in there, so they're angry infants, right? It's the same spirits, man. That's why it's just justified for them to be destroyed, and that land goes to Judah. You know, because since you want to spend time taking land by violence, right? You're going to be exterminated, and the land's going to go to Judah. It's fitted.
So the thing is, you're never going to hold yourself accountable. Who does that? You're never going to hold yourself accountable. Someone else has to hold you accountable. Right? It's our power that's going to hold you accountable. Right? Yahweh can Yahweh strike.
That's it.
You know, and this is what we say. We ain't going to do nothing. This is not. We ain't going to power to do nothing. That's why you can check that shit, because there's nothing we can do. But Yahweh Shai is coming, man. Peru is coming. And when he comes, it's over for you guys.
That's right.
You know?
Scripture. Ezekiel 25 and 12. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh power, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged him.
Was you in the right to take vengeance against Judah? Oh, no, you was not. What you don't make touch that for the Most High's eye. You know, so you had no place in doing that ultimately. But Most High had you do it anyway, so you get you. You know, no, no.
It says, and revenge himself upon them.
Revenge himself.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't ordained. He wasn't like, you know, righteous, you know, sanctification. It wasn't. You know?
Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman.
The America, which you love so much, is going to be destroyed. You know, all these American ideals and shit, all these hypocritical ideals you have, you're going to be destroyed right along with America. You know? Yep.
And they of Dedan shall fall by the sword, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel.
Right.
And
we're nothing but tools at the end of the day. Right? We haven't got the power to do that right now. So we have to wait for the Lord to return to give us that power to be able to get justice, right? To get that recompense, to bring vengeance against you, which is a righteous vengeance. You know?
And we don't have to worry about remembering because the Heavenly Father remembers everything for us.
Yeah.
He said he requires that which is past.
And we ain't got to worry about recompense. We ain't got to worry about recompense. What we would have done is righteous, just because we're reading it.
Yeah.
Right? So there ain't going to be no comebacks after this.
No.
We're the ones getting justice.
Yeah.
No one needs to get justice upon us. You know? Because now we're going to put it to bed. Leave us even if you put to bed. You know?
Yep.
Are you still going?
Yeah, it's all right. You got it.
No, I was going. No, you still going?
Yeah, I got a little bit. But...
Yeah, go on.
All right. So it says, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury.
The Lord's fury. Right? Like I said, yeah, we're pissed. Yeah, we want to get back on you. But only it's the Most High's program. He's going to get his get back. You know?
Yeah.
And they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh.
Yeah, we didn't write this. No, we didn't make this up. Right? This is the Most High's word we're reading. It's the Most High's plans and His will that's being done.
Yeah.
Right? We're just on board.
Yeah.
You know, we are one. That's the scripture saying we are one. We believe it. Yeah. If you want to do that first?
The book of Ezekiel 45 and verse 5. Because thou hast had the perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
And it's showing it's perpetual because it hasn't stopped. That's why it's coming back out now. It was just hidden. And we've always known that. We've always known that he was hiding the shit.
Oh, just
faking
go
the
on
funk.
Twitter, man. All you gotta do is go
You
on
know?
Twitter. These devils are on there. Wild. From the UK to America to France, just anything Jake does. Usual suspects.
Fucking blackies. These man, these EDL man.
To get away, they say it, they're not getting banned. They're like, oh.
That's goes on to say, because thou art the perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity.
Right, what does it mean by the time of their calamity? Yeah, we accept to see the. Oh yeah, but the tribes, they were killing each other. Or no, listen. It's accepted that we weren't right. We can accept that. We're not here to romanticize our people like we were like the hobbits from fucking from Lord of the Rings, man. Just innocent, and then man just came and no. Jake wicked. Jake be wicked, man. Jake be doing wickedness. That's the reason why you were able to overcome us. Because if we were perfect in the sight of the Lord, you wouldn't have been able to touch us. It was through the curses why you were able to overcome us, through our own iniquity. That is true. But that doesn't justify you. It doesn't absolve you of what your role is in it. So saying, oh yeah, but the tribes, they were just... Okay.
Why was you able?
What did you do? The Bible says thou shouldest not have.
Yeah, you should have stayed out of it.
He should have known.
Oh, thou shouldest not.
You should have never came back.
That's the in-house. If a nation in-house problem, what's it to do with you? So that's what they like.
Because he weren't doing it in righteousness.
Yeah, no,
He just saw an opportunity for his own evil.
Yeah.
Esau weren't thinking to himself, "Oh, these people are doing wickedness. I'm going to judge them righteously." No, he just wanted some land, and then he saw an opportunity.
But even that devil Columbus in his writings, what did he say? He said these people make great slaves. They're basically pretty much peaceful. Somebody like from Dean Ephraim and that and Hispaniola. He had his writings, and there were a lot of them writings, man. There was some real demonic shit.
Yeah, there was no righteousness.
They will make great slaves. Yeah.
And they're going to probably celebrate a big Christopher Columbus celebration this year. Now, they're going to
next year. Next year, because they've got the celebration of 250 years of the American conquering America.
When is that?
2026. Yeah, they got a special day. Yeah. Abaratazar, man.
Abaratazar. They don't make it.
They're going to make it a big.
Yeah, that's going to be the new.
They're in the unapologetic.
That'll be that'll be like the new Independence Day, isn't it?
They call it soft girl era.
That'll be like a new.
They always Italians tried to claim him. English people, I've even heard English.
Everyone except the Jews.
He's an Amalekite, man. Yeah. So, what's his name? He's a Spanish mob. Spanish.
They're all Edomites. That's good.
Yeah, that's true. They're all Edomites.
Now you get judged with it.
And even in his own right, man, he talked about the tribes being peaceful and they basically how they can conquer them with few men and stuff like that. Which was the Lord allowing that anyway, man.
Psalm 55.
Psalm 55. They were peaceful. Yeah, they came with war.
It was.
Murder. They were sinning.
I worship idols and things. So,
but that doesn't justify what they did, because as I'm going to show in Jeremiah 25, that's always been Jake. Every people that came against Jake was doing wrong. That never justified them. The Lord mashed them up afterwards. So, anyway, and then I'll get this.
In the time that their iniquity at an end, therefore, as I live, says the Lord, I will prepare thee unto blood, and the blood shall pursue thee, since thou not hated blood.
He didn't hate blood. That's why he went to go in the beast, right? Take the land, because he was going to shed a lot of blood to get that land.
What, 3,000 square miles? That's what they shed a lot of blood to get that 3,000 square miles. To go from
we weren't few. A few over there.
To go from New York to LA, that's a lot of land. That's a lot of conquering that has to be done.
Different time zones.
3 different time zones. There's how the West was won, and there's a whole movie genre, spaghetti western, that the Italians created that goes into that with John Wayne.
Yeah,
them man just
John Wayne.
Just shooting down Indians, man.
Cowboys and Indians.
Yeah. Woody in it, Woody.
Yeah.
That's why it's fitting that the book 100 years later. The covers got Babylon just in blood, man.
Yeah.
The scripture says the blood cannot be cleansed except blood of him that.
And if the blood of man, woman, and child, they were kidding. A lot of times, what they would do is they would go into the village while the braves were away and dishearten them, kill the men, women, and child, and the old people. So when the braves come back and they see all their children, and they would just bug out. They were like, "Oh man, I ain't got nothing else to fight."
But they weren't children; they're potential terrorists. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They were them Stone Age children.
The original Django, the first UK market.
They would mutilate the bodies, take the vaginas of the women with them as trophies.
Sounds like a savage to me.
It's not an animal, but
it's detestable, man. But if I can always say, it's like, but Esau in this day and age likes to hold himself as the champion of women and children, man. Right?
I'm sorry,
you got it, bro.
No, you got it. Sorry.
No, but as the brother was going earlier on, when you look into like Greece, Antiochus and them, they were doing the same thing, right? But once again, still to this day, he'll come. Oh, we've got to protect the women. We've got to protect the children. Now you're the devil, man.
Well, that's that same thing with that Pocahontas story.
Yeah.
That fucking girl they took from the Americans, brought her to England, and all that. She was an underage woman.
Basically.
They just basically was raping her. She was basically what they called a.
They didn't tell the story.
They didn't tell the story.
No.
But when you watch Disney, she's just beautiful.
They're calling her savages and all that.
Even in the Disney movie, the men wanted to kill Esau in the Disney film. But then she was like this beautiful woman that just wanted to bring peace between the tribes and Esau. No, she was an underage, so-called underage woman that you brought to Europe and raped. You prostituted her, man. That's what you did. That's the fucking truth, man. the John Smith and all them characters, the British sailors.
But you see, that's what it means about
What's
we
this
were talking about
fucking
earlier.
business,
Is the truth, Esau can't handle the truth, man, because they have to believe in this fairy tale version of themselves. They have to sanitize it so a certain but guy, you know that
Even
white
fucking
Arab
what's it, Anastasia.
and he was talking about how
Yeah,
Americans
Tsar-
don't even
Tsar
know their own
Nicholas.
history, man. They because they don't. They have to face it, man.
Bolshevik.
These are devils, man. They're real devils.
Disney card.
They're monsters, man. It's you.
I was just mentioning even like the Tsar Nicholas, the Anastasia cartoon, the Disney one, where you know the Bolshevik revolution against Tsar Nicholas's family.
Okay, yeah.
They did a Disney cartoon about it, like to say it was some, you know, they stole his fucking inheritance, man. Murdered his family.
Man. The Bolsheviks.
Stalin and all that.
They killed him, man.
Yeah, they murdered,
And
exiled his family.
His whole, his
whole
There was a
family.
mass genocide. That
I think even Queen Vicky over here, once she interlinked with interlinked with royals of Europe, it was like the Jake.
Queen Victoria, yeah.
They were related. They were. I think there was one I've even seen with like a line of like black Russians, and they're like basically you see them. They're like mixed race looking Russians and that from that era.
Yeah.
But it was getting killed off and that.
Yeah,
You know, there's few lines left and that.
Yeah, man.
Vicky was one of them last lineages.
Yeah.
They were killing all them European Jakes.
Let me get this. Jeremiah 25 and 9. It says, "Behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar." Damn, how did I never notice that's how it's spelled? Crazy. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring him against this land, the Israelites, and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them and make them an astonishment and an hissing and a perpetual desolation. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstones and the light of the candle, and this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. So this is the Lord saying, listen, I'm going to use the Babylonians to mess you up.
70 years.
But hold on. But, and it shall come to pass when the 70 years are accomplished that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Lord,
nation as well, right?
for their iniquity and the land of the Chaldeans, and I will make it perpetual desolations. So what's that telling you then? That the Babylonians weren't right. That even though the Lord used the Babylonians, even the book of Habakkuk is an extension of that. Because if you read Habakkuk 1, 2, and 3, it's talking about the Babylonians taking down Jacob. But obviously, when you're dealing with the Babylonians, it spiritually fast forwards to Babylon the Great and Esau today. And that's why we apply those scriptures, right? But it's the same thing. Esau, Edom is just like Babylon. You came against us because, we sinned. You can read it. Whereas like, you're committing idolatry, you're doing this, doing that. I'm going to send the worst of the heathen against you. That's in Ezekiel. I'm going to send upon you the worst of the heathen, which is you Edomites. But there's nowhere in it where it says that them man were righteous.
They're going to get away with it.
Back then, when Babylon took us down, Scripture says in first Ezra that it was Esau that burned down the temple.
Yeah.
You know, so
Praise it.
so even with all different captivities, that nigga was still there. You know, remember
Persian and Medes, Esther and all that. Mordecai. Yeah.
then the Antiochus, then Rome. So even every temple that they had, the first temple was burnt by Esau.
Agent, yeah.
The second temple, fucking Antiochus Epiphanes, and even what was left of it, Rome.
Agent Smith's always been there, bro. Agent Smith, bro. Agent Smith. Because even in the Matrix, they show you he comes back as a human. He comes back into the human form, and then tries to take Neo out inside of the ship with Trinity. You know what I'm saying? So the enemy's always been there, man.
Rome, the same spirit of Rome, they always uplift Rome as if it's some kind of peak of civilization. Like even there was a movie, I'm trying to remember, there was a movie where you had angels.
Not Legion.
I can't remember the film and who was in it, but I think Mark Wahlberg was in it.
Oh, You talking about when he was the cop? Nah,
There
you know when he was the cop.
It was angels, and basically the angels correct timelines, and then
Oh, you're talking.
adjustment period.
Oh, that's Matt Damon. Matt Damon.
The speech
Matt
that the
Damon.
angel
Matt Damon.
gave,
Yeah.
The angel says,
To the height of
"What is the height of
civilization in the world.
civilization?" Then you gave us the
Then
dark
we came
ages.
off the wheel, and then you gave us the Dark Ages.
Hmm.
Then we brought it back, and then gave you the Renaissance.
That was Matt Damon. Matt Damon.
By civilization
Yeah.
and how civilized they are and how superior they are morally.
Right.
But it's all a lie.
Yeah.
It's always been a lie.
Babylon was the head of gold. Babylon was the head of gold.
Yeah.
You know, in its splendor. This is a shithole.
Yeah, that's the where the feet of it.
Man.
What's the
And it's
dirtiest
morally
part?
bankrupt. And that's the key thing. Fuck money.
Mm.
It's morally fucking bankrupt, man. You are not what you telling everyone you are. You are not this wise old maze that's spreading righteousness throughout the earth. That's us. That's going to be the kingdom of heaven. Our kingdom is going to be what you claim to be. You claim to uplift people. You don't do that. You destroy people.
The best time this kingdom ever was when they were so-called, upholding the so-called Bible and some type of. There never was. But some type of morality was there based on of. Basically, they just stepped in our place.
Yeah,
That's
but
what they
even
did,
then,
man.
There was no morality. They killed the Native American Indians. They were taking men's wives. They take the slaves' wives. When was they moral? It was all an act. It's a lie. They never was spreading no form of morality. Give me the year.
Never. Yeah.
There was no year. It was just on a fake front. Well, Andrew Jackson was a preacher, wasn't he? No,
The Indian killer.
the Indian killer.
Yeah, that's true.
Founding forefathers were
It's all a facade. They never.
Would have been self-righteousness.
It's so self-righteous.
But there's basically Hollywood has taken up the reins of creating that narrative.
Yeah.
Oh, that the new like kids coming growing up. It's like what Disney sort of movies and what.
The witchcraft.
Oh, the free world. And they still try and do it. Trump will get up there and they act like you're like better than everyone. Everyone else is just evil, and you're there trying to marshal the world because these people are just bad. It's like, no, you are the bad one more than anyone else. It's all a big lie. It's a hypocrisy.
Oh, read it. It's a Job, chapter 20, verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment.
That's all you really have is success. You don't have morality. You never had morality. All you've had is success. You've been an evil bastard that won. That's it. And then you've used the fact that you won and to push success. Oh, we're the free world. Huh?
God's with it.
The American army is God's army. Huh? When did you fight for God?
Yeah.
When did you fight for righteousness? Is that what you fight to establish in the earth? Righteousness? Because I'll be a batty man thing I see getting promoted throughout the earth through you. So when did you become the bastion of righteousness, the light that everyone needs to look to of how to operate in the world? How? When you lie and steal and cheat all the way throughout your history.
Gold, oil, and drugs, isn't it? You know that the Illuminati think God, gold, oil, and drugs, bro. That's basically what they've been doing. It's true. Gold, oil, and drugs.
You've always been satanic.
That's what they've been doing, fam.
Apparently, fathers are Freemasons.
They
Gold,
can't
oil, and drugs,
into
brother.
a mountain.
That's the idol worship. Mount Rushmore. That's the idol.
Slavery.
George.
11:14. And no marvel for Satan himself
Jake that built that.
transformed into an angel of light. That's what's happened. These men have got this idea, like they've pushed this notion that they promote good, and it's the movies. The movies are, like, 007 is saving the world. The British are trying to save the world from the bad guys. It's all lies. That is not what MI6 does. MI5 don't go to work. There's some evil in the world. We got to stop it. No, they're the ones creating the evil.
They corrupt government. They corrupt government.
Yeah, the CIA. Listen, the reason why the CIA.
That's why they man got mad when Snowden pulled the plug on them, man, and Assange. The man got upset.
Well, ask yourself
They're
this,
watching
yeah.
us.
why is everything they do have to be secret?
Yeah.
That's righteous.
If the work was righteousness, it would be in the light. The reason they're called secret agencies is because they can't let you know what they're doing because they're doing wickedness.
Exactly.
It's no different to a gang. What do gangs do? Everything's behind closed doors and well, these dumb niggas nowadays. But I'm saying, a gang, the reason why the gang is hiding what they're doing is because it's not right.
Big you, innit?
Oh yeah.
Take the gang back.
Yeah. But through Marvel and DC
60s.
the heroes. Notice the heroes are never really going after America. They're defending America as if America's something that Superman should defend. It's this, I stand for the American way of righteousness and saving the children. No, what? What are we doing here?
It's why you need General Zod, man.
Someone's right, man.
That's the woman, innit? Hitting with the repo.
Second Thessalonians 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High or that is worshipped.
This guy's the That's why when evil multiplied is when he came to power. And now it's the most wicked time that's ever existed. You know, this guy's the fertilizer. For McDonald's, you know what I mean?
Oh no, it's Stormzy's that one. Get the Stormzy one.
Yeah, there's a scandal in the world. Now, this brother's always bringing out some crazy scandal he's not doing.
Cornflakes is a perfect example. If you go and look at why cornflakes was made, it was made to like sterilize men and fucking stop people from having sex. Even
that's crazy. And that was a whole process.
Yeah, bro. So that guy who invented cornflakes, bro, that's
Eating my devil.
was a fuck out, bro. This guy said, I can't even say the kind of stuff he used to put up his ass. He used to pump like, yeah.
Pegasus.
You know what, man? Bro,
remember Esau's food industries have to go through the Food and Drug Administration.
Yeah.
They got to go through them masons that run through all of that. There you go, checks and balances. They got to really run through all of that and really create it to destroy you.
Yeah, but no, that's all right because
With the drink.
JFK Jr. he gonna sort that out.
Oh yeah.
RFK.
He gonna make America healthy.
Yeah, RFK.
That's all done, man. They finished that a long time ago. Real food was finished a long time ago. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was
That's
done a
why
long time ago, bro.
I'm saying, I was thinking about it. Look, there's a certain situation, right, where you just can't tell the truth because the truth destroys you.
Yeah.
You know, like you're in a relationship that's built on bare lies. Imagine you had a woman, right, and she might have done something, and if she tells the truth, you might forgive her because really it's not that deep. But let's say you find out that it's not her real name.
Yeah, that's a whole
She's not
different
from
story.
where she said she was from.
Yeah.
Family's not a family.
None of your kids are yours. None of your kids are yours. When she was meant to be looking after your mother and father, she actually poisoned them, and that's why they died. Imagine if she just told you like the truth, but the truth is just
Overwhelming.
it's over, right? It's over. That's what America is. If an American president was to say, you know what, right? I'm gonna have a press conference tomorrow, and everything that's been happening, everything we've done, I'm just gonna tell the truth about it, bro. America would just.
Collapse overnight.
Some people would have a heart attack. Some people would have a psychotic break.
One of the bankers. I'm sorry, bro.
Because America is actually a lie that's too much. The truth actually destroys America. They can't tell you the truth.
Never.
That's why they hate us. Because they said what? When you watch the movies, right? They'll be say that information is classified because why? It's a matter of national security. Meaning, if we were to tell the people the truth,
They'll go crazy overnight.
And that's why Trump ain't gonna tell you the truth.
Well, Henry Ford
destroys America.
Henry Ford didn't fuck with Amalek. And when Henry Ford was producing these cars, he had a book called The International Jew. and he'd produce it, and it would be in the back of every Ford.
Mm.
And it was that book was exposed Amalek.
Yeah.
They were even onto Henry Ford. Henry Ford could have
They
been a
took him
Jake,
out. They
man.
took him out.
They took him out. Henry Ford would have that book, The International Jew, and it would expose what Amalek's doing on the planet. For real.
It's so dark, it's so demonic, yeah, that the whole idea of America,
It will collapse
the
overnight.
whole idea of America that people have in their mind,
Collapse
even as
overnight.
bad as some people think it is, the truth is a lot worse. In that same day, America would just go into flames. Everyone would be like, "Fuck this! This is crazy! I can't believe it! They've been poisoning everyone. They've been killing everything. This event was fake. That event was fake. That was all a lie." Your mind would just explode. It's just fuck this, man. Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
Trump is gonna go in there and he's gonna give us all the truth about Epstein and just no, he's not, man.
He was there.
Bro, there was all concentrating this week about the CIA and JFK's assassination. They didn't even. He ain't gonna tell you the truth about JFK.
Sacrifice that dude. They never gonna tell you the
They never
truth.
tell you
And
that.
notice whenever they have these things, like even with the Diddy thing, they never bring out no Satanism in it.
Nah.
They'll just always make it look like it was just getting freaky. They'll never give you the full truth.
No, hell no.
But then now you'd have to wake up and think like, hold on, put two and two together. So all these men with the money.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, this place is run by Satanists. Now you have to start thinking, but these men are feeding my children.
Mm.
And now it's all gonna get all messed up now.
And then you can take the Bible for real, never trust thy enemy. You can actually understand it. You know? But we already know. No.
Imagine that. There's the industry of baby worship. They're just gone.
Yeah, gone every day.
Stolen. Yeah. Stolen. Mm. Yeah.
Like, aside from worship.
Yeah.
Kidnaps. Yeah.
People gotta go.
Yeah.
Sick.
Half of them ain't got no birth certificates.
Yeah.
Stolen.
They have because that the Finders Code exposed that.
Yeah.
They found a whole bunch of children in cages, and them children were not documented.
Yeah.
You know,
No
they were just
registration.
in
Transported.
cages.
Yeah.
And the
Traffic.
CIA was involved in that, and the reason it came out was because the guy that was first on the scene was an what do you call it, ATF, alcohol,
Tobacco, firearm.
yeah, he was an agent, so he had already written up a report. Then the FBI came in and took over it.
And redacted
They
that
still
shit.
have that original report that
Yeah.
shows that they interviewed the kids. That the CIA was involved in that, and it's called the Finders Code.
What even in the Metropolitan Police, when a case gets a bit higher, what they do is the person that's the young officer that's trying to find things out, they'll just don't worry, we'll deal with it. So now that shit gets swept under the rug. Now this cop that was like onto it, he thinks he might be trying to do a good thing. You know, there's levels to that degrees of masonry. They just shut him down. Or shut.
But John Wedger, he's the guy that comes out and breaks all that down. You know, and the truth of that can't come out.
Yeah.
They'll destroy this place.
Oh, that's the Metropolitan Police, man.
Like that movie, for The Sound of Freedom, right?
Yeah.
They all got mad when that came out.
Yeah.
Right? You know, they were trying to give a reason why they, it was not quite accurate in all this kind of business, right? But any light shit up on that stuff, man, it should be like, oh, that's good, it's good work. But they were getting kind of, down talked about it.
And then what really would break America is when they find out that it's all of them together.
Yeah.
There ain't no good side. The only thing that's keeping America going is the idea that one side thinks the other guy. When they find out that all these men already been working together the whole time,
One
they
club,
destroy the whole thing.
That's what they're finding out over here as well. They thought labor was gonna come out. The money taps getting opened up.
And your
the benefits getting
And
expensive.
your part because you've been participating in all their rituals.
Yeah. Indirectly.
You've been doing it too.
Labor's through. And then who's going to come in after that? Probably reform. I think it's going to be reform, but they fit the bill.
Yeah, what they're trying to push towards, they fit well.
God. So I can second Thessalonians 2, from 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, but that they shall not come except to come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who exalteth him and who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called.
Yeah. This technology that you've got, you're replacing the Most High, you're replacing everything and trying to put yourself forward as the savior of mankind. You want to chip people's brains. You want to bring in robots. First of all, how are you going to have an earth where man don't work? We're meant to be working in the earth. You want to replace people. That's why your system's falling apart. Because men are supposed to have jobs. Men are supposed to have something that they do that's fulfilling in life. You're not just meant to have robots doing everything.
Mm.
And then you don't even own anything anyway, so you don't benefit from none of the situation. Now they want to start with these V's. They want to give people V's for cancer, V's for this. When you create all these diseases, man, most of the reasons why people are getting it because they are injecting people with cancer viruses. They've been doing that for years, even with the animals. That's why the animals in the UK and all that are bare sick because they get the V's, and the V's gives them the diseases, and then you got to go pay the vets bare money, just to fix the damn animal, man. It's all money to the devil, man. This whole situation, man, is just so messed up. It's messed up, man. The children are all bugged out through social media, but he's got a God complex, man.
Social media
where its thingies on it, it compounds on itself.
Yeah. Compounded wickedness.
Yeah. Because it's like with the youth, it's like how bro, it's like our child was fucked, but it was like how much more so is it even now with further technologies, further wickedness.
Godless, man.
Yeah.
And they knew it because they know how social media is specifically designed to mess up the psychology.
Yeah.
And it's targeted because they know what will mess up the men. They know what messes up the man. Yeah. So when you go on that social media, the algorithm is constantly sexualizing. Constantly. Like without fail, Instagram has destroyed a whole generation of young men. Literally, all they do, go on Instagram and it's just and you're just gonna waste a good 45 minutes, man. I've done it, bro. Not 45 minutes. But it happens. No, but how many times have you gone on even YouTube and then you're looking for one thing and then you see a short with some booty, you're like, oh, okay. And then boom, another one. Ooh. And the next thing you know, for the next 5-10 minutes here, you're like, what the hell? I did. Look, man, you have to click not interested on it. Yeah, get that shit out of my feed. So they mess up guys with that, but then for the women, they target him with other things. And then the whole like button, the whole likes and all that, it's literally a trap for your mind. And even the way you're consuming information, the algorithm can warp your sense of reality of things. You consume so much of one particular thing, you think it's everything. When really in reality it's not. You could be on the internet and it makes London look like if you step out your front door, you're gonna get stabbed and acid attacked. Because you just want it to he's just scrolling, it's the same thing over and over and over again. And it makes it even a bigger issue in your mind and it affects how you act. When if you just put the phone down, it's like, yeah, it's a problem, but it's not that deep. Come on.
Like everywhere you go, you're just gonna any South American country, a cartel is gonna strip you and rob you and kill you. Come on, man. There's sub-sex to every society.
Yeah, but that's what social media does. It feeds you the same
narrative
bullshit, and it's almost like programming.
That's cool. Yeah.
Even if you're watching bare of the same things, like Pop the Balloon, that affects how you think about shaping your people in relationship when they don't even represent the majority. It's a small little fragment that's being beaten into your brain over and over and over and over again. So you think that's what every man acts like. Or that's what everyone from that particular place is like.
Yeah.
Everyone's like that because I've seen about 2,000 videos of the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Bro, it's demonic, man. Social media, one of the worst things that ever happened.
Oh, man. Internet.
Especially like with certain others like passport vids, because you'll see certain. This is how like women in England are, but it'll be just like one. They'll be like Shoreditch. That's like, no, that's just how they are in Shoreditch. Not like that's that. You go Chelsea, you get a different passport. Completely different person. Wales,
I think if you go to South America, they're all bunch. Yeah. Because they just like the gal just walking around is like, bro, that guy's in on a prostitute street.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why the gal are like. That's not
The actual public don't like that.
Yeah, they don't. On the clipboards, they do say like, why are you showing that image of a country like that?
Yeah, like it.
But that's what everyone sees, isn't it?
But you see that image, that social media shapes people's realities. It's part of that. It's a part of this
And it can
witchcraft.
make you commit suicide. All that stuff. Like, if you're into a certain thing, it'll bombard you with that thing, and it kind of programs you. You children,
Young men,
it's
suicide
a spell.
themselves over AI. AI. partners on phones and shit, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
There was what was it? There was a woman that got like, I think she divorced her husband and gave like a couple hundred grand for like the fake Tom. What's it known? Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is like lying in the bed. He's like, "Oh, I'm dying. You need to send me money." And it's like she divorced her husband, sent her all her life savings. Then afterwards found out it was a scam.
It's all by design because Silicon Valley is run by a bunch of witches and warlocks. And they use the technology to cast spells on people, to manipulate people's minds.
The book of Psalm 54 and starts from 6. I mean, from 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search for both inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep.
Right. When Esau studied the human mind, the group mind, did he say, let me use this knowledge to create better human beings? No. That just destroyed people. He created MTV. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a demon.
Beavis and Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead. Right? They could have used that music, right? Remember, everything that
brain dead. Bro,
music can be used to influence people in righteousness, just as easily as it can be used to influence people in wickedness.
Bro, you watch too many episodes of that Beavis and Butthead, you start acting like them. That shit will make you brain dead, man. That and Jackass and all of that, it make you brain dead, bro. Pranks and all that, it's stupid shit. Yeah. Simpsons is just on the border, like. Yeah, they're the modern day Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, they're the modern day Beavis and Buttheads, man. They just do anything for clout and anything for money.
And all them.
KSI.
Like KSI.
Yeah, we saw the trailer the other day. KSI got this big show on Netflix.
They've got these massive mansions.
And it's just all they're doing is follies, bare folly, bro. Well, folly is setting great dignity.
Just best content, non-stop content.
Yeah.
It's like you see the people watching. It's like like all the young girls where they got their booty out and whatever. A bunch of 84-year-old girls watching them. And the dudes like watching like Kai Cenat, complete. Like,
KSI is degenerate.
Speed and that.
Yeah, Speed. That guy's a demon. Speed demon.
Because
gets paid for doing
like, say like you're watching a particular program you liked, yeah? You had to wait for that, like Dragon Ball Z. You had to wait for that specific.
Man got very happy because he's going for his first goal.
Watched it, yeah? But then man would just have to go do something else. Now, like the reality of how a child grows up now is they could literally watch the same thing on repeat because it's on demand. You've got kids just watching the same thing in a loop. Like sometimes I've got to be to my daughter, I have to ban her. I say, listen, you can't watch that no more. Because you've been sitting there watching that same thing. I think you've seen every episode about 100 times. That's just like you can't.
Programming her brain, bro. It's programming her mind.
We'd have to actually... Hey, bro, you know, before you'd watch a show, okay, you watch a show 10, 20 years back, but then you'd actually have to go and do stuff. You have to go and actually be active, you know.
Yeah.
Now it's like, man, it's crazy. They're just flooded with it.
Kids don't even want to leave the yard no more, man.
They don't want to leave the house.
It's got all their tech, bro. Phone, talking about devices, your friends at school, all that.
The kids I don't know. Now they have access to unlimited content.
Bare technology,
so they just go through it over and over.
Yeah.
For the kites and that thing, it's just constant stream. Just so they could just sit in the content. Yeah, it don't stop, man.
I remember these things even years back started with like shows like Big Brother and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Reality TV.
Yeah.
Where you're watching other people live. Man. Well, it ain't reality, but now you.
The thing is, that's fed back into like general culture.
Yeah.
Because
it's like
especially the relationship one.
Yeah.
Well, Love Island.
We're just on the point of the
plastic motherfuckers, man.
Just to the point of the popping the balloon, you had that main guy, the plumber guy.
Yeah, I remember.
Then they made the reality show. He went on that, the Zeus Network, and he said he come off of it and basically 2 people that was on the show already been
They're
murdered.
getting killed.
They've been
And
getting
I think he basically done a
He said-
disclaimer.
yeah, they said that there's
Oh,
people
Zeus
following
network
me.
is demonic. They're
Yeah,
the
it
ones
said
that
there's
did that
demons.
baddie thing.
Yeah, the baddies. He said there's people been sacrificed on the show. 2 people already turned up dead after a month after the, and people are following him and saying that it's these people. It was like people are following me.
He
Like,
put it out there. I
yeah,
think
he
even
said they
someone he
do
knows-
sacrifices
yeah.
and all that. He
And you
said
know what
that.
the biggest joke of reality TV is? It's fake.
Mm. It's all
Reality
fake.
TV is scripted.
It's all manipulated. Yeah.
So the whole thing is a mental manipulation on people, so they think what they're watching is real when it's actually it's
fake,
it's
man.
a lot of. That's why they have to sign an NDA,
Yeah.
because it's not real. They change it to manipulate people's minds on how they approach like relationships and all these different things.
Yeah.
There was that one the other day where the guy flipping was watching his gal getting banged or something on the screen and on the show. And then it came out that they were all part of a reality TV show before. It's all juiced, man. It's all set up.
Yeah. Nasty work.
10 verse 5, there is an evil which I have seen under the sun as an error which proceeded from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low places. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth.
So you got the wicked, the demonic people in positions of authority, and that's why the world is the way it is. You got Esau Edom, who's the king of wickedness, and they have the authority to create these programs or to push whatever they want to push, and it's always wickedness. It's always negativity. Always something that at the end of the day is going to destroy the minds of the people. And this is why, if you look at the generation that's growing up now, they're so fucked in the head. You know?
Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way you should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Oh, that's another thing. They're the ones that push this thing that you ain't. If you discipline your child, it's abuse. You know, so you got a whole bunch of Jake that took that now. So a whole bunch of Jake, you see them talking on the podcast because my parents, they beat me, and that's abuse. When you look back at it was abuse. So I don't beat my child now. So now this generation of 14, 15-year-olds are fucking disrespectful beyond.
Degeneracy.
They're disrespectful. They're bullies.
That's the thing is like, because
Worse than ever.
you do the lighter punishment,
monsters,
which is
man.
the beats. Yeah. Then it's gonna they get into the world. They might get
Now they're in the car chase with the cops.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they end up like Chris Father. Mark, what's his name? Mark, what's his name? Mark
No
W.
respect, no manners, right? And then the thing is, you
Got
can't
his son.
it's just teenagers. No, you go to Japan, they don't act like that.
in Tottenham.
You know what I mean? There's places in the world where teenagers are not seen like that. In the UK, these teenagers, as soon as school gets let out, these men are just running riot everywhere. They're running riot on the buses. They're running riot in the stores. They're running riot all just doing whatever they want, like just acting crazy. There's
Western
countries
Empire,
where you
bro.
will not see that. Teenagers are in order. When they're not just bare disrespectful.
The Western Empire, bro. America, England, for real. America, England. We had that Mizzy guy. Remember that kid? He run up in houses, all that. Then the whole social,
thrown in jail or arrested or whatever. I can't remember what happened.
remember the whole social media followed him. That's that Western Empire shit, man.
He ended up on Pierce Morgan.
Yeah, how the fuck? Place where all the ages.
Hey, Esau set people up that if you even hit children now, hit so-called children, man, you hit them, they can call the people on them. Basically, the lesser police, they can call the services.
In the schools, they call it
Imagine that.
safeguarding. But meanwhile, in the schools, most kids are getting bullied.
Yeah.
And the school's not really doing nothing. They can't do nothing about it. When you're a
Cyberbullying.
teacher now,
Your kids are getting bullied, but then the joke thing is, you're saying if the adult hits the children for discipline, she's getting done.
Bro,
But you're letting the kids get picked on and all this
if your
madness.
child is getting bullied, you can't even approach the child that's bullying your kid.
Yeah.
That's
They
sick as
call
well.
that safeguarding issue.
Right,
Bro,
but
the school's mad.
And you know what? If you told your kid, how sick this world is, if you told your kid now, listen, hit them back or something,
They'll get done for that.
yeah, you get done for it. I'm just not promoting that, but
That's the thing. Then you're probably
Most people, if you talk to them, their kids get bullied at school. There's massive amounts of bullying in schools, massive.
and it's got to
then
quietly
now they've got
sit there.
social media and these chat groups,
Uh.
they just constantly bullying each other. Even the way they interact. If you listen If you listen to go on a bus and listen to these kids, the way they
It's
interact with each other,
disrespectful.
it's all negativity between each other.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's all your ugly
I've heard
this,
it.
your
I've heard
ugly
it.
that.
I've heard it.
They're only disrespecting each other. I
Yeah.
mean, back in the day, man, used to banter, but
Bus
man
go.
wasn't just sitting there going, "Oh, you're ugly, fam." But these kids are demons.
You don't limit to it because
Yeah,
someone might.
And that's one thing they showed in that thing.
That's
the
true.
lesson,
Yeah.
Respect. They showed the reality of what these schools are actually like,
Yeah, man.
especially in London and the inner cities.
Yeah.
These schools, the teachers
Fuck.
are losing their minds because these kids are demons. They're not there to learn. They don't learn anything because most of the class is spent trying to get these demons to actually just not
To
bully
listen
and yeah,
or something.
and,
Pay
and
attention or
it's-
something.
that program shows that the schools is messed up. And most teachers are leaving teaching. They leave. They go to another country like Australia because the UK and America is the worst.
I'm sorry. Go on. The precept. Sorry.
Verse 1, Matthew chapter 24, verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Yeah, these kids don't know about love and how to treat each other. They don't have no love. They don't respect knowledge, wisdom, or understanding. They're just demons, man. Oh, listen, don't become a teacher because all you're going to be doing is dealing, and you can't correct them, and they know that. They'll just tell you to F off. You tell them to leave the class and say what? And another thing they built into the system is these schools don't want to exclude children now. Because when you exclude a child, it marks your school down and you get less funding. So basically, bro, the whole education system is fucked. That's why all the kids that, back in the day, you had them real bad breeds. They don't get rid of them no more. They keep them there for as long as possible. So they're basically affecting everyone else. Just demons.
Basically creating the gremlin.
The gremlins, yeah.
Imagine before in the school system, remember, even in England, you get the cane. In England. So imagine if we've gone from the cane to now we can't exclude the black.
So basically, those schools are a giant babysitting center where the kids come to socialize, but they don't really learn anything because the majority of the time they're there. Not only do they not value education, but most of the time they're there, they're not actually learning. They're just talking about.
This is the end of the world, bro.
And if your child likes to learn, they're fucked.
Well, they're going to be even.
They're going to get bullied.
But the thing is, so-called positive. Even when I was growing up, positive kids were always kind of looked down on, even in the school system. The system was changing. But if you wanted to try and be good in school, you was like, you weren't cool. They actually helped the motherfucking demons.
That starts from the cartoons and stuff. Because remember the cartoons is like.
And then guess what? That makes you want to stop. But what that does is now it makes you want to start becoming like that.
Yeah, they do.
Then guess what? You start becoming like that.
Bro,
Before you know it, you're the same way. It's like birds of a feather flock together, man.
Psalms 64
Now
and
you want to be down and all that.
Psalms 64 and 5. They encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune of laying snares. Rivers. They say, who shall eat them?
yeah, but that's part of the There's a guy that done it. I'll post it in a group if I find it again. He did a whole breakdown of how the education system works. Even in terms of the teachers, the only thing they need to worry about is making sure that the notations in the books are correct. But in terms of the children learning, none of that matters. It's all about dotting I's and crossing T's. And they put a lot of pressure on head teachers to meet certain requirements that's got nothing to do with, because remember that one teacher committed suicide, but the guy just came in and downgraded the school for no reason. Just downgraded it, and she committed suicide. Bro, the education system is messed up. It's not really about the children learning anything. It's just about babysitting them and getting them to the end of wherever they get to.
Yeah, making them a demon for society.
Demon for society, yeah. Most of them, trust me,
That's what it is.
They don't want to learn. But then the funny thing is, the immigrant children come here with a different mindset because they learn a different way.
And that's the thing. I was gonna say as well.
Trying to take your job.
With it's like overseas schools. They also have the cane. It's like my younger sister, younger brother. Then when they're in school, they're all getting caned. They have to shut the fuck up.
Back home, when I was in Ghana back in the day, like it's so dumb. You actually get mocked for being stupid. Like so, anytime we do our exams, your exam is in front of the whole school year, from 1 to like Yeah, so if you're like number 90, people go like, look at this, you're dumb. Yeah. You're having all the stories of it.
But that's the difference between an education system that's there to promote learning and children actually getting education, and an education system that's there to dumb people down and just babysit the kids. And that's all it is. The school system now is just the teachers are babysitters. They're not actually teachers. Even if they said, like, as a teacher, if you find a way to teach a student something, so let's say, like, you could bring a football into the classroom, and you know you could use this football to teach them something. If one of the head teachers comes in and sees you doing that, they'll say, no, you can't do that because it's not part of the curriculum. It's not part of the curriculum. And our teaching methods have, if an inspector comes in and sees you doing that method to teach your class, and then another teacher is not doing that, they'll mark you down because they'll say you don't have a uniform method for teaching. So as a teacher, you can't look at your students uniform anyway. But again, it's just a way of
control, isn't it?
It's control and a way
That
of
proves that we're controlled by international bankers, because they want to create an army of dummies that come into society now, and they want mischief. They're not about having a productive society.
The FDA is fucking up the food.
Yeah.
And the Department of Education is
that's true, bro. That's right.
Going for these youth to go into, right? And idle hands makes Bill's playground. I think the saying goes well. So they're going to do mischief. You know what I mean? Because if they're bored, they're going to have to do anyway.
Yeah, they're just on social media. Yeah.
See, even in England, years back, in the English school curriculum, you had boxing. You had boxing, so even the girls and boys would have to box in school. That was part of the curriculum, because fighting, boxing, and training, it gives you discipline outside of actual words. It's like gives you a different type of learning. They took that out. I'm talking about the craze era. Yeah, different set of skills. So imagine in the world, you go out and everyone in society, you knew most of the people in them generations. You have to fight. You'd be more careful how you spoke to people. You'd be more. Now look at it. We live in a world of just disrespect, man.
What's that order about?
That's what it is, bro.
Ecclesiasticus 10:2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
When you have a kingdom, man, you're supposed to, have rule it in righteousness and have. So basically, if you got a ruler and he's on some madness, that's what the scripture's saying. Everyone's going to be under that spirit. That's going to destroy your kingdom, man. When you watch them like a ancient world flick, even Marco Polo and that, you see the order that they had in those kingdoms. You know what I'm saying? Even though obviously it's wicked and all that, but it's still order and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the idea of righteousness. That's what all these other kingdoms have been lacking. The righteous element, but this is the kingdom of complete whacked out chaos. America produced, like you said, they used to cane the kids and that. Obviously, but cane is really disciplined. Obviously, I'm not going to go into that, but just morals and shit, all that don't exist. They brought in the agenda stuff, where you can be an agenda to make the women wear.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the biggest, stat and what's called birth control.
Birth control. All of these things, all of these demonic things.
Yeah. Like, go down like a decade down the line, just putting in like birth control or just letting women work. The effects it's had on like the children, the family structure.
Basically, got two men in the house. Yeah. That's what the power struggle. And it's a clash of vibrations, right? The women, right, and the woman could be a single. She's single. I'm a boss bitch. Because they've been given that. Right, that's masculine. That's not. So there's chaos. And how can you have where's the family unit? When you've got my boss bitches over there and this broken bloke over there. Like, this is just crazy, isn't it? It doesn't make sense.
Even that, even that mindset of people starting to have kids later, having
my body, my choice. That's the feminism. A lot of those feminism, when they end up in their 40s, like even career women, career and sacrifice, teachers, and consultant, or whatever it was, and then they get to the 40 and they're down in Apple something. You know, they got no kids. Why they want to do that? Because they chose the career. And now they, you know what I'm saying? They've been used really working for the man.
They said they sacrificed. Some legit have sacrificed their baby by going to them clinics because why they going to them clinics for their career. So it's like, I'm going to kill this baby so that I can get the promotion and stuff like that. So it's actually a sacrifice.
Right, like, by the way, okay. One thing the scripture says that the people that will put the child to sacrifice the more to get what? Gain, you know, sacrifice to gods to get blessed, man. And they were doing that to listen, man, Greco-Rome, they were doing that to many gods, right? You had Jupiter, the king of the gods, you had Mercury, all of this. You know what I'm saying? You had these different gods, Venus. They all had temples, man. Look it up. They had temples. So you go to a temple, and you know what? They'll show that in a period piece or in a fucking game. You know, that's reality. These morons, these fucking bats going to work, don't even know about that. And they're doing the same thing today through
the same form of worship. That's why it's like Christmas.
Right.
All the every kid, that's talking about the indoctrination. It's like all these children, they're thinking like, oh, Christmas. I remember I was walking, it was like what, like June, what, like May? And I saw kids like walking, singing Christmas carols. And I'm like, you know what, they're so indoctrinated with Christmas that they're just singing that, they're feeling bliss. Because that's how society's got you, like kids just thinking like, oh, Christmas, all good. Yeah. Meanwhile, it's
all year round.
Exalting Nimrod, man.
Scripture?
All year round, bro.
Jeremiah 51:6. It said, well, the point's in 7. I'm starting 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time.
The great, right? America's Babylon the Great. All the tribes in it, right? I guarantee most everybody's parents here. We're in the UK. A lot of brothers' parents is in the come from the American hemisphere. All right, so that's where the bulk of the tribes is at. Okay, some just went to different places, and you got the history of Europe and stuff like that, where a lot of our seed is scattered all through Europe and all that. Okay, but you got we're on the Babylon the Great. Babylon's America. England is the mother of America, right? That's in Revelation 17. So they got the same spirit. The confusion, we're all under that spirit. Even through Revelation 18, through the consumerism and the American empire, the culture being brought over to all these lands. We're all under that. Abortions came from America. What's happening there? You don't know me, I know me, and my body, who, what, when, is over here too. Yeah. You know, then the alphabet movement. That
started over there.
Yeah. Then they got flags. Then they got different genders. Her, she, him, who, when, what, I. What the fuck is it? No, that's what's popping. That's what's going on. And then you say the wrong thing, but I'm clean. That is gender.
No, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like you can do the job over that. Say very disrespectful.
My current pronouns.
Oh, for real.
Pronouns, right?
It's fucked up, bro. Man's got a full beard.
Bro.
Taller than you. Yeah, the shoulders broader than yours. Like,
taller than you, and he had the high heels on.
You know, some of the certain days they like to call different pronouns. You got
bro. So here's my calendar. So you get correct.
It says I'm calling them man. The sir or a man.
It says, but this is the time of the Lord Yahweh's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that have made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of.
Go back to we've been in the West too long, and this is normalized, but you've seen the fruit of the Western labor.
Right.
You know what I mean? All of this destruction, disease, confusion, broken homes, that's the West, that's a Western creation. You know what I'm saying? The homelessness all fucked up, the poor. But in the scriptures, you had the homeless, you give them stuff, you give
System.
there was a system for that.
The system.
These motherfuckers always complain the homeless, they so fucked up. And then people, you know, it's all the system destroyed, broken. They'll tell you that. Just watch the politics, watch the news, the politics. That's all that's going on. Where to put the money, cut, debt. You know what I mean? For old people dying in homes in England, yeah? Because they eat no eating and that.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Blame it on them, you know. Yeah, the homeless, man. Yeah. Funding, we're losing all the funding, disability, all this. You know what I mean? But then what about the bankers? What about them? The fractional reserves? Come on, man.
They actually kept the uncapped bonuses for bankers as well. That was one of the things they were like, "Now we're leaving that now."
Yeah.
But then I was like, "Bro," but then it's like, "Yo, you're just like you ain't got one leg's missing." You're just like, "Yeah, can I get some money?" He's like, "Nah, you got back to work, man. Like, get a job." Oh yeah.
Oh, everyone became a hero because everyone was like, they're fucking over all the people. Yeah. It's in Babylon the Great, but that shows you the signs of the times that people distance. That's
And that's what they want, that order of chaos.
Yeah.
They want that. They want people to start rebelling and revolting and shit. That's why they putting the squeeze on a so-called working class, and you know what I'm saying? Look what they're doing, gang, taking our jobs, and it's just stirring up that pot. You know,
They ain't got British values.
what have we become? And then you know,
The motherfuckers never had values.
Yeah, I mean, you said this yesterday. Like back in a couple years ago, they had like the black sitcoms. You had like, you know,
My African Kids.
One-on-One,
Yeah.
Fresh Prince, Cosby Show.
Yeah.
And then now,
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
but now they're trying to amalgamate Jake into Esau's world. So now that's why Jake want to have a black Bond. They want to have Little Mermaid. So that's creating tensions. That's part of the tension where it's like, wait, hold on. You got to have your thing, and now they bring it to a head where everyone's coming against each other. Because like, oh, you want us to, you know, why like have your own stuff? That's about building that tension.
Through the that's true. Well, I was watching the Prophet the other day, and he was talking about how you had the seven dwarfs. You got like a Latin ship in that the main character, and pretty much in all these shows, they're starting to put Jakes in these shows. That's really the Lord's doing that. They just had the one with the
Was that Little Mermaids? Little Mermaid.
even that caused a big controversy. Oh,
Captain America, the big one.
The cartoon on it.
Spider-Man. He was both trying.
He's both trying.
Yeah, it was Latin and Jake.
Come on, man. Telling me they don't know. Come on,
The dad was Judah, the mom was Latin.
like,
Miles Morales. Miles Morales. Miles Morales.
So that's what's happened. Like, there was, even in medieval shows, man, there's been a lot that's happened.
Yeah.
You know, that's been overlooked. There's a couple.
Yeah.
I
I think
what some of them, but that Jake's in that shit.
they did.
There's been the medieval shows, and they put straight Jake's in it.
Viking.
Well, there's one recent one with Bashi. They put him in there as a Stewart. They put Bashi in there. You know that? They put him. There's one with Bashi. They put Ashley. They put him in there.
There's one with an American, like,
There's a few of them, bro.
someone like that.
One about Catherine great, but then there's also one with Malachi Kirby as well.
There's another one recently, Mary, Queen of Scots. They made a film,
Yeah.
and they had an Eve up in there as one of the families.
Right.
Mary, Queen of Scots. Yeah. There's one Mary, Queen of Scots, a film. I see it, and they had like a high yellow Eve in there. That which is actually depicting of the real life. Yeah.
So the Lord Jehovah should be all sides with that. Just like how in Rome, Jake was just. Why would that be happening? Because the end. I always like this point that if Will Smith is in like every end times film that you can think of. I don't know. That was
Psalms 85 and verse 11. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven.
say that.
Truth shall spring out of the earth.
That's the truth springing out of the earth. That you got all these chosen, but David one obviously put Jake, I think Jake did it like that. But they still didn't put,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? They put,
They put like kind of like Ephraimite looking cats in that new one, like House of David.
I didn't watch
sorry,
it.
sorry.
I need to watch that.
They kind of put a few like.
Well, they did that with
yeah.
Samson.
Oh yeah,
I was
Samson.
gonna say,
And that dude walked past the camp.
Yeah, no, that's all.
When the movie was hot, he
Yeah.
walked past the camp and shit. He did.
It was in Game of Thrones as well.
So that's the truth springing out of the earth. We are the Israelites, man. You know, and the Lord's that's why the Lord's got us on the tribes have woke up. You can't turn the tide back. You can't turn it back. That's prophecy, Ezekiel 37. Because the dry dead bones, because that was in slavery. The Jake's just niggas, they don't know what, they crash out on each other. They don't know nothing. Confused. You're working for the man, but now they know that year gods. Someone get me that year gods. Someone get me
Psalms
Romans where it says wait for the manifestation of the sun. Right? Just type it in. You'll see it.
What the Rome?
Yeah, read it.
Romans chapter 8, verse 19.
So don't put a bit before that exactly.
It says from verse 15. It says, "For ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear." 13. Romans 8, 8 and 13. "For if you live after the flesh, ye shall die."
The flesh that really human bodies, right? At one time, Adam was perfect, but sin came in, and then we got cursed. And cursed with what? Death. Death, dying is a curse, bro. That's actually a curse that goes back to the start of time. So we was actually designed not to die, really. But through sin, we die. So, your death is life. You know, really, death is a curse, bro. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah.
Right, this is back in the Esdras, the 7th chapter and 48th verse. Oh, Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come of thee. For what profit is it unto us if there be promise and immortal time, whereas we have done works that bring death?
Well,
so that all started from him, and then that's how everyone has to kind of go to death.
So,
Yeah, it says, but if ye through the spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. For as many,
yeah, pretty much. That's why we're out here. This is like a righteous sacrifice. It is a righteous sacrifice to the Lord. We put out here and teach. You are what you put in your energy into, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're the beast, then you're gonna die at beast. If you're at Diddy parties, you're gonna die at Diddy, unless you repent. You know what I'm saying? So we're making righteous sacrifices to the Most High, and all the people see that. That's why they're starstruck. They're like, you know what? These guys are preaching the Bible, and they can't deny the righteous sacrifices that you do. So they might start to nitpick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's, you know what I'm saying? That's just demon. That's hating. That's energy. But really, people can see it in the prophecies and things that are happening. So that's making your body a living sacrifice. Coming out here and making righteous sacrifices, bro. Let's read on.
yep, it says, for as many as are led by the spirit of Yahweh, they are the sons of God.
Right, so we're led by the Spirit, man. Pray and all that, everything we do. Lord willing, we hope the Lord blesses us in our daily lives, man. Because we're under the curses, so we just, you know what I'm saying? So we're led by the Spirit. We do a show, Spirit kicks in. You might say you do a show, you're on one topic, then the Spirit kicks in, yeah? And guess what? You're doing all types of different topics. That's the Lord wanting something else out there. All right, let's carry on.
Yeah, it says, verse 15, for ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but ye have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father.
If you stay in the flesh and you basically don't do things of the spirit, then you're gonna die. You know, that's that you cursed, you're under that bondage. But through your Shai, we're redeemed, eternal life, you know what I mean, a higher calling. So that's why you gotta teach. Yeah, you gotta keep the commandments. Because they go, oh, GMS don't tell you to keep it. Bullshit. We just keep the Passover, we keep the Sabbath, we don't eat pork, we don't eat shrimp, lobsters, keep dietary law, we keep ceremonial laws, we don't, you know what I'm saying? We keep all, don't commit adultery and that. Yeah, so we keep the laws, bro. So that's what, you know, but then on top of that, right,
You have to know you can't keep it 100%. Otherwise, you're being proud otherwise, right? You know?
yeah, if you try and say you can keep the laws perfect, you're actually proud. But then you're saying that you didn't need Yahweh Shai. That's what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what you're saying. What the fucking punk bitch nigga. Potty ass niggas, man. What you talking about, man? You know what I'm saying? This week, man.
Yeah, verse 16,
Fucking pieces of shit. Okay.
the spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh. And if children,
And that's why spiritual things are happening, synchronization. You know what I'm saying? You might driving down and you see 444 or something, or you was talking to us about something, you watch the video, then other brothers in another state, they're talking about the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's clearly the Lord dealing with us, and we're establishing the house of David. Who else is doing that? You know what I'm saying? So this is it. Who else is doing that?
The
Man?
house of David. Imagine the shows getting made as well.
Yeah.
Talk about synchronization.
Look at that. So that's the spirit. This is the time, bro.
Bro, it's like right now.
Donald
Imagine.
J. Being the DJ president.
As the tabernacle of David being built, seeing that tabernacle of store, everything's been exposed, man. You know?
Right now, there's supposed to be stuff for General Yohana.
Yeah.
Yeah, now there's some apparently you don't know what now there's, you know what I'm saying? But you know, that's that scripture, man. When I think it was Ezekiel and he was seeing through the wall. And he see all the priests, they was all doing the wickedness.
Yeah.
That's heavy. We're gonna read that about
People getting fucking exploited.
right, you read that because you can't tell me this ain't the spirit of the busting off, right? Like all of a sudden, like you said, they took deals and that, and all of a sudden it's all coming out. Immoralities that they gotta do to have to uphold these deals. That's how the deals work, right?
It's like in every industry,
Right.
there's people where they've been compromised to get some gain.
Compromised.
Huh?
Yeah. That word, man. That's just fucking dirty, bro. Compromised.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I got
it's like when was that when Rick Ross it was a mink or someone signed the contract and he was just like Ross was like you know you signed it, now you know what comes with that contract now.
You're beholden to them. They got power.
The contract said,
The contract today, man. Contract. So they know what they're doing. Just with the terms, not to the small prints in every contract. So you can't just sit. But they'll still have things in there, like you pledge to. You know what I mean? The guy not go You know what all that? It's dirty. Right inside. So we ain't Great Millstone ain't compromised, bro. Coming out of like you top camps out there with the uniform garments and that, and the dough and the churches, the big mega schools and that, the cathedrals, right? And the medieval cathedrals and that. Y'all have got deals, nigga. So what's up with that, homeboy? You know what I'm saying? Dudes are doing all sorts of things coming out on dudes. We ain't done nothing like that, punk ass. You know what I'm saying? Go on,
Like, do you agree? It's not your body, not your choice.
Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 26. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait as he that setteth snares. They set a trap, they catch men. As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. Therefore,
when you establish a church and you say to the church, can't call on the name Yahweh and Yahweh shy. That's a demonic church. Straight off the back. I shouldn't have said that. But straight out, out the gate. They ain't trying to use that news. Right, straight out the gate. But that, you know, that dude keeps going off the back. I ain't trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, help my own spirit. But out the gate, you know what I'm saying? What was I talking about, man? Let's read.
Church is taking things out of the church.
Oh yeah, so the names, bro, the name, Yahweh and Yahweh shine. Yes, so that's the main things, bro. Because foundations, man. You got a church and you ain't calling on the name, the ancient name of the Most High, bro. And what the fuck is he doing?
Oh yeah, you say ancient.
How you gonna have
even like present? You know what I mean? It's just one name. It's always been one name. And if you ain't calling upon it, man, guess what? You have a take a deal, but the Lord just simply ain't giving it to you because he ain't dealing with you, man. You know?
Well, these niggas don't believe that the Lord revealed back the name to us. That's what happened to the spirit. And them niggas ain't got faith.
It happened once. Why not again, right? You believe Moses received the name, right?
Yeah.
From the bush, I think it was the bush. Was some another time that happened.
Yeah, for the burning bush.
You know? So yeah, if Moses can receive it then, why can't we receive it now? You don't have faith. That's the problem. You know?
Says the elect shall praise his holy name.
That's it.
Ooh, how is that going to be done?
How's it possible?
The elect shall praise his holy. That it ain't like made up name. It ain't, you know, God. That's
not the holy name. That's the title. It's the title.
Let's say, yeah, go on.
Psalms 91, verse 14. Psalms 91, verse 14. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high because he hath known my name.
So that's a tenet of scripture that we're going to know. And they speak the ancient Hebrew, the actual for the actual Israelites. So the Lord revealed us to the tongue. The small hats they got there for, they don't be talking about, we can't just read it. Because they ain't talking some stupid shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's some niggas that, because most of the niggas, when they came to the truth, according on the name, then they get compromised, right? So is that, you know what I mean? Getting on the table, a contract. You know what I'm saying? Italian spaghetti, like spaghetti, you know that. There's meatballs or whatever. Contracts, man. But then the glasses and champagne or something. You just watch it again. Do it. But he's, you know what I mean? He's gonna do it, man. Now, if you don't do it, then you know what happens, right? Them people introduce you to the industry. A lot of people in modeling or music and that, they'll give you that. They'll have you around that life, bring you around flights, and then it's like you don't even know this dude's like he's your mentor, coach, but he's your link. So then what happens is now the contract appears and that, and obviously they probably introduce you to gay clubs and freak shit already. But the contract comes and that, and then you gotta. So if you don't do it, they're gonna be mad at you. They're gonna be like, "I took you under my wing, bully." Now that you know what example of that was Krypton Combs. They said when they didn't conform to something, the dude like, you know what I'm saying? He crashed out. He couldn't believe like, what's gotten into you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all the Italian spaghetti. You know what I'm saying?
I'm grateful.
Right, you know what I'm saying? The Italian spaghetti, the meatballs, the trips to France. I'm saying you can't believe it now. Now you think what gotten into you because one of your cousins told you about the truth or something. He backed out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's I ain't snapped to that mechanic.
That's your cool part.
Yeah, he snapped the fucking mechanic, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What we got?
Ezekiel.
Right.
So Ezekiel 6, so like Ezekiel 8 and 6, he said, furthermore unto me, son of man, seest thou what they do, even the great abominations that the house of Israel committeth here, that I shall go far off from my that I should go far off from my sanctuary, but turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abomination. But turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations. And he brought me to the door of the court, and when I looked behind a hole in the wall, then said he
Let's
unto
read
me,
it again because that horse, man. Go on, man. Because that I just that.
I'll stop from the top.
Yeah.
Ezekiel 8 and 6. He said, furthermore unto me, son of man, seest thou what they do, even the great abominations that the house of Israel committeth here, that I should go far off from my sanctuary, but turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations. And he brought me to the door of the court, and when I looked behind a hole in the wall, then said he unto me, son of man, dig now on the wall. And when I digged in the wall, behold a door. And he said unto me, go in, and behold the wicked abominations that they do here. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping things and abominable beasts, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall round about. And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel, and in the midst of them Jaazaniah, the son of Shaphan, with every
So 8 of them. It's mentioned top 7.
70 men.
And the top fucking priests.
And ancients.
Right.
Race.
So we're dealing with top men in Israel there. These top schools, man, and there's certain people that are different. This is mad. Them people are back here today. This is the spirit, bro. Everything. This is like the Matrix, yeah. Everything just is synchronized. The Lord says it and it happens. You can't get around that, right? So people like that think that this is a fairy tale. Then they get shocked when things start actually manifesting. They can't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like when the lockdowns happened, they couldn't believe it, and that's what we said was going to happen. It's going to happen again. All right, let's go on.
I got a preset.
Okay.
Quick one. Well, Micah 3 and 1. And I said, hear I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and you princes of the house of Israel. Is it not for you to know judgment, who hate the good and love the evil?
You top men, princes, rulers in Israel of the tribes, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, Puerto Ricans. Yeah, you got top niggas in these seats, man, and they're getting the niggas to eat pork. They're getting Jakes and not calling the name. Oh, don't call on that name. No, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The demons.
They're forcing the demons harder.
Right.
Crazy.
When Yahushua was taken and they were going to crucify him, Caiaphas, the high priest, they had them. It actually says in the book of Gospel of Matthew, they took Caiaphas, they took Yahushua to Caiaphas, and all the chief of the scribes and the Pharisees were gathered together. So they were all just waiting for Yahushua to start busting him and start accusing them falsely of falseness and wickedness. And they were the leaders of Israel. that everyone looks to as the righteous at the time.
And they were doing their. That's what actually come out in these. Then it's a lot of these geezers, such as the full of dead men, the white and sepulchres. Yeah. Outside the really, we go look at you bomb garments. Yeah. Nigga, fuck your garments. What are you getting up to? In them school, it's all coming out. IUIC is all kind of shit coming out about them before. All this stuff. Crazy, man.
I got a little bit more. Who pluck off their skin from off them and their flesh from off their bone. Who also eat the flesh of my people and flay their skin from off them, and they break their bones and chop them in pieces, as for the pot and as flesh within the cauldron. Then shall they cry unto the Lord Yahweh, but he will not hear them. He will even hide his face from them at that time, as they have behaved themselves ill in their doings. So yeah, that precepts with the valley of the dry bones, because what you have is you had in the same book the brothers reading Ezekiel about the breath of life coming upon them and the bones coming together, the sinew and the flesh building upon them. But what these wicked leaders are basically doing is now they're coming to undo the good works that the Heavenly Father has put in place by taking, flaying off the skin, breaking the bones and throwing it aside to establish whatever they got going on. Like the brother mentioned with Caphias. He basically, their counsel in the back, away from everyone, was that, look, it's prophesied that one should die for the nation, but that if this man come, the whole world will, basically the whole world go after him, and they'll lose their seat that Rome has given them. So they understood, we need to get Yahweh. Well, they understood for their wicked doing, we need to get Yahweh Shai out of here and fulfill prophecy technically, but so we can establish our rulership. So that's how they're breaking the bones. And this is what these guys, the General Yohana, Snake Satan, all these demons, they're basically doing that right now. That's what they got to do to get basically so they can go forward with this system and establishing that 501c3, all these different things. But the Most High is, it's got their number. Because like we're seeing right now, what happened, 2-3 weeks ago, prior to the Passover, one of the main guys that's out there perpetuating a certain ideal, he got exposed in the most embarrassing way ever. So that really just shows you that the Most High and the power to play with, man.
Also, these other camps have been set out to prevent the two-thirds from coming to the truth. Yeah. Ultimately. Because they ain't dealing with the truth. They got their own secret agendas that they got going on in the background, right? And they're there to block men from receiving the truth. The same way, the wicked scribes and Pharisees, they were trying to keep people from listening to Yahweh Shai, saying that he was, being blasphemous and all these types of things. Yeah. And it's the same shit they'll say about us and our elders and apostles, about this truth that we have. But they're just set up for the full of the wicked of our people, man.
It's Matthew 7:13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat.
Because what did the Pharisees do? What did the Pharisees do at the end of the day, man? They caused the people to basically crucify Yahweh Shai. They caused a wicked act to happen. And they took it over our blood be upon our children and all kinds of things. They were going crazy, man. They were crazy. But they convinced them that Yahweh Shai was wicked somehow. Even though they had really nothing to say. The same as we, they got really nothing to say about us, and so they have to take shots of different, just over bullshit. But behind closed doors, what were the wicked scribes and Pharisees doing? Being hypocrites. And again, it's the same with these other characters. They're being hypocrites, man.
Yeah. That's why when they come against us, so when they come against us, coming against Yahweh Shai, because when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, he said that I'm here, but I'm going to be a comforter, and that's going to be the Holy Spirit, Yahweh Shai, the Word, and that's going to be the comforter. So look, Yahweh Shai is with us through the comforter, through the Spirit. That's how he's with us. Because he said that I'm not going to be physically there, because that was for that time, but I'm going to be there. And when they're coming against you this time round, they're coming against me because I'm the comforter. I'm the one that's the Spirit right there. So That's what they're doing. You know, 2.0 coming against Yahweh Shine, false accusations. 2.0. They just go on. Yeah, let's finish it. Let's finish that.
Ezekiel 8 and 11. And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel. And in the midst of them stood Jaazaniah,
More than that.
the son of Shaphan, with every man his censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up. Then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in the chambers of his imagery?
So I've got to say this. When I like you guys, I'm going to be like ISUPK, I'm going to be IUIC and all that. You guys don't understand that you're either signing up to some wicked high scribes and Pharisees, or you're signing up for the truth. So what happens is some people might sign up to these organizations, yeah, and then but then they might seem to be watching Great Millstone.
Yeah.
So you got members of the election there that secretly watching because they're like, no, I can't. I'm in the wrong group. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're stuck because them dudes, you know how they go on. Well, IUIC was getting people's details, you have to sign up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're telling you what woman to pack.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't deal with that, bro. Don't deal with that, bro. Don't deal with that. That booty's for me, bro.
Right. Go ahead.
For they say, the Lord Yahweh
Yeah, the fucking sap fucks in there will be like saying, sorry, man. The sap fucks in there will actually accept that shit. They won't even like talk up like, oh, well, what do you mean, man? That's not that righteous.
They'll
Don't
read the
even ask
scriptures like
questions.
that afternoon. That show has wickedness, but then they're just gonna. For they say, the Lord Yahweh seeth us not. The Lord Yahweh hath forsaken the earth. So they really don't believe in the truth. They're seeing it as like, well, they're holding on to the money, they're holding on to beliefs in something else.
Again, trying to establish themselves. Yeah? Like with the scribes and Pharisees, they wanted to keep their seat. They wanted to establish themselves, they keep themselves established. You know?
They said the Lord said to them not that they can hold them secrets. But the Lord had Ezekiel see it all. Yeah. And the prophets represent exposed that. You know, we have to say it.
The prophet, the scripture says the spirit of prophets is subject unto them. So that's how you got the righteous prophets, got the wicked prophets for that. Doing the same lots, man.
That shows that they're cornered already when they start signing deals. It was all like through the spirit, this happening. It was already exposed. You've already been exposed, man. Everything's already written. It's kind of tripped out. You know what I mean? When you sign it, you already fucked. Fucked already.
Yeah, the angels witnessing it.
Right?
He marked it down. He's like, okay. He quivered for like 0.5 seconds.
The deal.
Yeah. You know. See, the Most High don't bring judgment until you've done the deed. You know, even though the Most High knows you're gonna do it, you don't judge you until you've done the deed.
Right.
So he hasn't known. He known motherfucker doing some shit, man.
What? No temptation for the time.
You can have a pact with demons, right?
The Most High was up the way out of temptation, isn't it? To present a temptation, but there's a way where you can get out. But so all these guys, when they had a contract before them, they could have said no. Like what's the priest in Ezra? Eliezer, yeah. Basically, he said like after all these years, like.
Oh yeah, with the pork and with
They said we'll give you a lawful meat, but now lead them astray.
yeah.
And they were cool.
The appearance of evil.
That was the Greeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was the Greeks.
And it was cool with the general, whoever did it. And even then, his countenance changed to him. He said, man, fuck this old man.
I ain't doing that.
Yeah. Same with the CV. So he didn't just inject it with people. He wanted you to sign on the dotted line. Yeah, I consented to the procedure.
But now it's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's yours. And then with the MOTB, it's going to be the same thing.
That's false.
But even the guy from IOIC I have fun. He said that the mark of the beast. I think he was corresponding with Apostle Tahar on the boards. He said the mark of the beast is the chip, but the IUI, my congregation,
Yeah, I can't show them.
yeah. So then afterwards he doubled back on that. After he's like, but then afterwards he basically totally ignored that he even said that afterwards. You know, obviously the demon came back on him, hard in his heart. He actually admitted that mark of the beast is the chip, the thing, right? But the congregation ain't ready for that. Then he hardened his heart.
That said, I'm snitching.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
could have been snitching on Nate, man.
Well,
Both sides.
well, it's been put out that
Well, you know what? These leaders do know that.
they know
what's going on.
they know what's going on,
They
bro.
know the name of the Lord. So the prophet, they're being, you know what I mean? That's part of the deal.
They're being cunning, man. Demons. Yeah.
They were on point at one time.
Right.
That's the thing. The reality is we got the records.
Yeah,
Right. So that's part of that deal. It's the deal, man.
the deal, bro. It's the deal.
So one day you see it. Look, man, this is the title. It's great. Most don't jump on it. But look, man, it's not the chip, right? He's got the breakdown. He's got the guys in the look, right? And then that's how you always see it.
Yeah.
Then, you know, this upstarts and just be right. So, you know,
Right.
and then they got their scriptures to put together and that. It's crazy, man. Then the great millstone here, and they're asking 20, 30 videos. They can't handle it. Because as always, you guys are always attacking every group. That's what Thingy said on that one of the ayahs that he said.
Yeah.
They're always attacking every group.
General Yohana said that recently.
But he said it again.
Yeah.
He said it now. What happened to Kari?
Right.
He was blaming us.
He said we're the hate
Nigga,
group.
what are you talking about, man? Right.
What the facts?
So you're just hating that Ezekiel.
That's true. That's true, bro.
It's like a crack in the wall. Like
What was that title?
If it wasn't for these men,
That's how they look at us. If it wasn't for us, they'd have them seats and we'd
I wouldn't wait for it.
That was great also in comedy.
Yeah, am I becoming an enemy because I tell you the truth?
But let's read.
Verse 13. He said also unto me, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse.
Yeah,
Right now. Oh, there's more. More.
And there's more.
That's like, oh, there's work. It's just like, oh,
The great shit.
yeah, bro.
AI fucking device. What can you get worse than that? I mean, 3D.
Oh yeah. But the joke thing is but the thing is, the crazy thing is with all of that, these dudes do it. But the joke thing is, even when it came out, everyone in Israel, every other camps everyone defended it. There was actually no issue with it. It shows you that the world is wicked as hell, and these niggas that outside of our the true knowledge, they're actually all with it. It's like it's not even a big. It's like that we're gonna wait for some more. This is the niggas actually doing all of that, and they're all good with it. They said pray for him and fast for him. That's what they said.
So they want TMS employees.
Right, so they can keep doing it. He's allowed to. The woman that
I want to know how they
They want us out.
It just shows you. It just shows you the mind of the world, isn't it? The world is wicked, bro.
I wonder what they're going to say about Passover being kept in a center. Like, what do they think about that? Did they rebuke him on that?
They don't want the bitter herbs that even came out this week.
But that was before the new thing. Now he's allowed to get AI
basically.
Watch his woman get trained and shit.
And that are we supposed to put motherfucking?
Do some wickedness,
Which was all bullshit, man. Which was all bullshit, man. And the thing is, another thing, they get on the Great Millstone about because we get on the tribal women, which is rightful so, and they get on the Great Millstone for that. But this guy was a top leader, and he's letting He's letting her get run through by devils.
This is
Come on, bro. That's demonic.
It's demonic.
It's demonic, bro.
That's what happened.
You're letting devils get run through her, bro. When you're supposed to be, aren't you supposed to be like teaching them women the right way to behave?
He's a priest as
high
well.
priest.
He's a priest.
He's meant to be a virgin.
You letting devils go there, bro.
The guy was cutting them, man. He's writing people's sins down. They were trying to cut him, and they were doing worse. They were doing foul shit, but they're trying to go on like, look,
But no one can rebuke him because he's a Levite. Remember that?
yeah,
So it's like,
you are getting a black woman. Cursed us about
Right.
that, but he's allowed to get a black woman trained.
By devils.
Like that's crazy. Let's read.
We're gonna have to get round our mouth to review. On
So
eight,
you went
you know?
Yeah, bro. Devils go there.
And thou shalt see greater abominations that they do. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord Yahweh's house, which was toward the north. Behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz.
no. Like Nate, he serves Jesus Christ. He serves Jesus Christ, man. He don't serve Yahweh Shai. You know? What's that?
Then said he unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these.
So even more they will see.
You pull the carpet back, there's filth, there's grime, there's cockroaches. Then you realize there's another
Remember, bro.
carpet. Then you pull that.
Well, remember these
There's a
guys.
dead body, there's
Well, remember they're breaking all the Lord's word. Because remember, even IUIC, they had that girl. She got actually killed. I think in Europe here. Right. So they've actually got murder scandals, sex scandals, all type of shit going on, bro. It's like, come on, you know what I'm saying? Come on. Even that dude, Brother Polite, the Egyptologist, he was talking about dudes are popping young girls. Well, you was really doing that. You flew a bitch you flew a young woman from a town to a motherfucking state. I think it was a daughter of another woman, by the way. That which is he's double breaking the law. And the daughter. And the daughter, bro. And then now
he was at the camp.
right. Talking about the rape doctrine and all that.
Rape doctrine or whatever. He was the biggest advocate. It went viral.
Right.
And then he for that.
That's what you're doing.
Which we tell you, man. That was the first time.
He's in jail right now. What is going on? Like how? Like y'all?
But he's
Y'all have got nothing to say.
We've got nothing
How
to say.
we even have when this is going on?
I
Remember
just-
this thing it was viral, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. He was with Floyd.
It's so viral. World star hip hop. Right.
And remember,
on the Breakfast Club, this was all attacking us.
and remember, bro, he ain't
And
nothing.
this is how big this shit went.
That's right. I remember he's not about for the same things you're throwing. I remember he's a Malachi Z. York. He's a student. He's a disciple of Malachi Z. York. No, maybe don't follow everything he does, but he's a. Well, yeah. There you go. There you go. So you've all been. Remember, even years back, the apostles used to even get on Malachi Z. York people. Remember, years back, all that history's come out. Done. He took the Pyramid City, yeah. Now look, man. The Africa audit, but they're all interlinked. They're all interlinked. Africa bombarded Malachi Z. York. That era was all interlinked. So their ideology obviously still lives on. But guess what? You look at what's going on, man. But remember, even Yahushai, when he taught, they said he's the devil. So if Yahushai can't get it right, what the hell we gonna do? We just gotta wait till the Lord destroys this shit, man. Because these niggas still will try and curse you out, man.
Verse 16. And he brought me to the inner court of the Lord Yahweh's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord Yahweh, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord Yahweh, and their faces towards the east, and they worship the sun toward the
This
east.
is crazy, man. What are you niggas doing behind doors?
So in the same place, you got power there. Worshiping idols. That's the same thing. So you're putting up as an Israelite temple, is like worshiping or doing stuff you shouldn't be doing. Same stuff. Same thing.
Listen, man, and you know the Lord's exposing all of that. If you ain't in the right energy field, You ain't, we pray to be of the hopeful elect. We want to get beamed up. So we want to be dealing with the spirit of the Lord, bro. Not no creepy, crawly, cockroach behavior behind the scenes and all that. Just for clout and fuck the clout, nigga. We're going to be famous anyway through the spirit, but through righteousness. But all this clout chasing right now, podcasts,
I saw bullshit.
all this clout, fuck that shit.
I was reasoning with yesterday about it. Like the clout demon is like the bedrock of everything everyone does nowadays. All the youngins, they're coming up. All they see is that clout. That's why they're licking toilet seats. Going into fucking supermarkets, being like, open ice cream, lick the ice cream, and then put it back.
Anything for that glory, like it's weird.
Absolutely.
It's shame, though. It's shame. This is what I understand. It's shame what they're doing. But this world is something good.
Crazy.
Yeah. Probably setting great dignity.
A priest is talking about will be given fame.
This is Zephaniah 3 from 19. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee. Says, and I will save her that halted and gather her that was driven out, and I'll get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put.
Okay. That's the GMS. Sorry.
I was just the same, man. That's how people, because we're in that activity, we've been put in shame because of all the shameful things we've done, right? But that's going to be reversed, man, because through the elect, through Yahweh Shai and the elect, they're going to be glorified in front of all nations, man. And so that's why we're going to get fame, because we're not going to be as you see us today. We're going to be above the nations that we're supposed to be, being kings and priests and judges and gods over the other nations, man. So that's when we're going to get our fame, right? In this world, it's not for us,
And we will
get it on this side.
But we acknowledge Yahweh Shai, man.
That's what I'm saying, right? Is what I'm saying, right? We're not going to get it on this side, because basically the Lord raised up the.
Don't make it known who these men are.
Yeah. Like even in the back in Rome, they started falling, started healing people. Yeah. The spirit of the Lord's gonna have brothers do stuff like that. Maybe like the road of it, and brothers are gonna be able to. The spirit, the Lord's gonna help brothers.
Do things,
until we get beamed up. Or it's gonna be chaotic. There's gonna be no food. But that's in Job. My prophet shall eat. How are we gonna eat? We don't miraculous encounters, situations.
Famine now, like.
Yeah, because famine is terrible, bro. You know what I mean? Like, if you go Tesco, Asda now,
there's not in there.
And it's not in there, man. What you gonna do? You got too much time. You're hungry now. But you ain't got people going to freak out.
We saw that 5 years ago, man. This period of time, with COVID times, we go into the shops with no food and the people fighting each other.
You think about it, like we fast or the Day of Affliction, Day of Atonement. It's about afflicting our body. So you're going to be laughing in that period. Like that's something close, man. Everyone's being afflicted. I ain't got no food.
Well,
I ain't gonna be there. Huh?
You got these the Islamic communities. They're like so-called doing their Ramadan. Oh, it's like a 5 hour in between. It's like they ain't even afflicting themselves.
12-hour window.
See, when you do the Day of Atonement, the real atonement, no water, no food, that's actually really afflicting your flesh. That's training.
Wake up at 5 a.m. Go to sleep. Wake up at 12.
Yeah, bro. Come on, bro. That's some fucking rip-off, man.
I got scripture. This is Lamentations 4 and 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger.
So it's better to get
slice slow. There's some deaths that are worse than other deaths. Drowning, burning alive.
Drowning in the sea, out in the middle of the sea. Titanic shit, you be in the sea, there's whales, and imagine the Lord has you go deep in the sea and he still ain't dead yet.
Fucking sea creatures. All this algae and all that's all in there. I mean, what the script says, the heart shall meditate terror. So terrors are coming. Fear the heart shall be outside. And that, like, we ain't telling, this ain't no gimmick. This ain't about us broadening our garments and say, no, this is about fearing the Most High. Y'all don't know what's really going on. We're telling you the Lord's going to bring chaos, destruction, more worse than what it is. Everything's fucked up right now. It's going to get worse. You're going to have to fear the Most High, bro. We know that's happening. Where we going to be at in them ships?
Yeah.
Safe.
Oh,
Lord willing. Go ahead.
2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 9. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments.
Say, you know what? Forsake the Most High. You know, I don't want to be any of what y'all talking about. You know what I mean? I ain't keeping no. I ain't fasting. I ain't keeping no Sabbath. I'm doing what I want to do. Right? So you get in that spirit now. Then what have you done? Basically, curse yourself, man.
Yeah.
There's no way out. You know what I'm saying? It's like in the Matrix at the end, you had the engineer program guy. You're the Most High. There's no way out. Your own reality, your own existence. Right. You ain't coming through these scriptures, bro. You're doomed, man. This is reality. This is reality, not you create your own reality. And no. All that's BS, man. All these kingdoms, false gods got overthrown. America's the last leg. America's gonna be destroyed. That's the truth. You seen it? There's no other reality than that. Y'all are wicked, crab eating demons, right? You know what I'm saying?
It says,
now it's observable as well.
Trying to create their own.
It's become observable to where it's like, oh, it looks like America's cracking it. It looks like, oh, the UK's done.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's April next month, man. Bringing in pay, man. That's when
Yeah,
all the
that's
new
gonna
tax
be
rules.
tax
Lots of businesses saying, look, man, we've been open for like 80 years, but these increases we can't keep up no more. So they're laying off staff. And then couple that with the AI stuff as well. It's like you're already seeing that a lot of jobs are getting ready to go, man.
Going bankrupt.
Yeah.
It's just getting cut.
Yeah, the NHS getting cut by Labour is bro. It's a wrap.
Your
That's a
energy
wrap.
price is going up.
bro.
Disability is getting disallowed. You know what I mean?
The man can't move. He can't talk. They cut his funding. Like, he probably just died. Some of these men would just die.
Get back. They just approved the system dying.
That's what I said. I was like, imagine this man put like, and the way that's been popping up in Canada is a madness. Man say, if you cost a certain amount, they'll say like, look, we can't help you with that, but we can kill you though. Like, but
What we got?
verse 10, it says, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me.
You can't live like that without being punished, all right? You can't live for yourself, you know what I'm saying, and getting Esau's clothes, toys, and all these new gadgets and living the nice life without acknowledging the Most High. It's for him, huh? Right. You just living like a robot, demon, and you know, it's BS, man. But how does the Lord make you hear it? Through the prophets. So everybody's heard the truth, right? Through the prophets. You know?
Yes, I got precept on that.
Yeah. So you guys system, idol, all that.
Quick precept, because you mentioned you hear it through the prophets. Jeremiah 35 and 15. I have also sent unto you all my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them, saying, return ye now every man from his evil way.
That's why you can't be like evil, breaking every law under the sun, you know, and not in law about being judged. Saying, you know, right now it's the people talk about ways of life. You know what I'm saying? Anything outside of the scriptures is sin. You're breaking, you're committing sin. You're going up. There's no other way. The scripture even says that.
Yeah.
You know? Right. There's no other way. You think there is, yeah. do this.
Yeah.
And then that's where the lockdown shut people. They couldn't believe
Huh?
that the system shut down. They couldn't believe it. They're so programmed. They thought that, like, you're so conditioned, fucking nursery school.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna go forever. Everything. You say anything up, no beautiful, you crazy. You know this, right?
Yeah.
People just anything, but now the spooky stuff is becoming reality now. Lockdowns. The government talking about, yeah, you know what, we've been UFOs, right? Whole time.
Yeah, the whole country. Have to slow the curve.
Yeah. So y'all are fucked, man.
I've got a quick
Okay.
one.
Yeah, man.
Proverbs
That's
16 and 25. There's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
Yeah, that's straight up. That's a beautiful one. So, all that do is thou will alternative reality, living your lifestyle. Hell no, first. Acknowledge the Most High first, the Creator who created you first. Right, that's the first step. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew 26 chapter.
Right.
Straight to the point. This is verse 59. Now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought forth witness against Yahushua to put him to death, but found none. Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet they found none. And at the last came 2 false witnesses and said, This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of Yahweh and to build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, Answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witness against thee? And Yahushua held his peace, and the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living power, that thou tell us whether thou be Mashiach, the anointed, the Son of the Most High. Yahushua said unto him, Thou hast said, nevertheless I say unto you, hereafter you shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of the power and coming in the clouds of heaven. Then the priest rent his clothes, saying, He has spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witnesses? Behold, now you have heard his blasphemy. What think you? They answered and said, He is guilty of death. Then did they spit in his face and buffeted him, and others smote him with the palms of their hands, saying, Prophesy unto us, thou anointed, who is he that smote thee? But I'll skip to verse. I'll skip to verse 70, but he denied before all them. No, something like that. That's pretty much the point, because then it goes into detail. But I will pull that out because ultimately, they were supposed to be the head priest of Israel, guiding our people into the right way towards basically being restored unto the Lord. All of them would have been supposed to have known the Lord, the Torah, bearing not false witness, and they were basically ultimately a cabal of wicked niggas right at the top of the nation, trying to, even though they knew Yahushua's position, for the fact that they wanted eastward carnal gains, wanted to do anything to get him killed.
Want to be legal wrong still.
Yeah.
Oh, niggas, and these niggas, man, they want to be in the world still. That's why they bring all these worldly influences into the congregations, man.
It's like even the high priest knew they were lying, and he turned to Yahushua and said, "What? You ain't got nothing to answer against that man was putting on the act."
I know he was lying the whole fucking time. You know what I mean? All these guys know they're fucking lying. They all know they're fucking lying, man. But they want to come out here and try and pretend like they're fucking righteous and shit. That they're perfect and they got the truth. Man, they ain't got shit. You know. Fucking easy, man. Tired of shit. Exactly.
Proverbs 11 and 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. But
Joining onto the system is not going to stop judgment.
right. Yeah.
We're in the wrong. We've got to do what we've got to do. But we're up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Spiritually, so Hey, with that, we're out. So, Shalom, man.
Shalom.
Shalom, brother. Shalom, my king.